Clearance. Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Busy day today, Slee. A lot going on today.
A lot going on.
Roars to UM.
Buenos dias.
Buenos
Jorge,
dias.
like the gear right there. Look
Jorge's
at
decked out.
ready to go, brother.
Graham
jersey on.
back
you go.
room is decked out. He's got his Lower Marion jersey. Jorge's got the 8. We've got it all. We've got it all covered, Slee.
8/24.
Yeah.
Special day today.
It is a special day today. The unveiling of the statue, of course, with all the other Laker greats. We'll spend a lot of time talking about all of that. The Lakers have a game tonight against the defending NBA champions.
Jeez.
It's the NBA trade deadline. So today is
thick of it for a couple more hours.
Yeah. We got 2 more hours. And so far, not a lot of big names moving. There's a lot of players moving around. Buddy Hield is moved. Gordon Hayward is moved. It looks like Dennis Schroeder just got moved. Bogdanovich is moving. Burks is moving. But and probably not a huge surprise, Lee, that a huge name hasn't shaken loose yet, because it never felt like a huge name was going to shake loose.
Yeah, I think that was going to be the only surprise, is if something big ended up happening. And I think we've been getting at least these it felt like in the last week, no, nothing big is going to happen. And for the NBA trade deadline, it's one of the more exciting days in the NBA. It's one of the more exciting days in sports, because I feel like usually there's a flurry.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. You're looking at that clock.
Still could
and you're
happen,
saying,
right?
Could still happen.
Yeah.
But I think it would be much more of a surprise if something happens. If it's quiet the way it's been, there's some small pieces moving here and there. I wouldn't be surprised.
There's nothing but huge pieces moving in the Laker universe, right? I mean, think about what's on the Laker plate today.
Yeah.
You got a game against maybe the best team in the league. You're trying to keep a winning streak going. You've won 3 in a row, which, while it sounds fairly modest for this team, is not modest. It's a pretty good deal. You've got to deal with the best player in the entire league in Jokic. You may or may not have a full roster by the time you play the game tonight, because you may send some guys out. You're dealing with an incredibly emotional day today because of the unveiling of the Kobe Bryant statue. That everybody in the NBA has got a lot on their plate, but the Lakers have like double and triple stacked it for today.
Kind of think about it. All the days that you've been in LA, obviously covering and at this station almost 9 years. I'm trying to think if there was this much action in a day. I know that we've had NBA Finals games. I know but they're all centered around one event.
Right.
This is, wait a minute, how the hell is the trade deadline on the 2/8/24 that the Lakers had planned a while back? Hey, we're going to unveil a statue for Kobe, and that's gonna be a incredibly big, especially you got everything all tented outside, so obviously they're ready for a big time event.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, the team that swept you in the playoffs, they're going to wait at 7 o'clock to try and give it to you again.
I know there was a time when I was doing the morning show where there was a Rams game, a Dodger playoff game, and a Laker game in the same day. Where there was, but those are that's on 3 different plates. That was a lot on our plate.
Yeah.
This is all on the Laker plate. The game, the trade, and a ceremony. And the ceremony is both going to be wonderful and incredibly emotional.
Of course, it will.
It's going to dredge up a bunch of wonderful, wonderful memories. We're going to do our draft today on our favorite Kobe memories along the way, but it also brings up the reason that he's not here, and that's incredibly painful. So it's going to be a lot going on. A very, very emotional day today.
Well, we come to any. I know we've kind of thrown out in our own head what we think the statue will be.
Yeah,
I got to tell you something. It's incredible how I have no idea what the statue is going to be, right? The fact that we're here and we're just a few hours away from it, from the unveiling.
There's a big tent covering it.
Big tent covering it.
They did that.
That's pretty amazing that nothing has come out.
Well, what's the old line, right? If more than one person knows, it's not a secret. Right? So if 2 or more people know, it's impossible to keep a secret. They've kept this secret.
Yeah.
Right? Because the sculptor obviously knows. I would imagine the family is aware.
Sure.
I would imagine that there's at least a
couple
pretty tight circle of Laker people that know what it is.
Like Jeannie and
that's
very tough.
That's probably got to be maybe somebody from AEG.
But somebody had to move it. Somebody had to put it up. Somebody had to put it in the truck. So you know what I mean? Like it's larger than just those 5 or 6. So it's, I mean, I don't think it goes beyond 15 or 20.
Yeah.
But
you know what's cool about
that
this?
nobody has, that hasn't leaked is awesome.
Let me add probably some other people that have a good idea. I'm sure there's got to be a person or two from Spectrum that has an idea. And I'll tell you why. I think when the dust settles, Spectrum's going to carry it from 3:30 to 4. We're going to carry it live here on the station from 3:30 to 4. But I'm sure that isn't there going to be some doc that just kind of, hey, this is how it started. This was the thought process that went into it.
Yeah, you're right.
Once we put it together, it had to go from here, wherever it was put together, to in front of LA Live on Chick Hearn Court. That I look at us investigating of like how many people we think know it.
Because it's impossible to keep a secret.
Especially this.
Everything leaks, and especially when people really want to know the content of whatever it is, whether it's a trade, whether it's an arrest, whatever. Like we want the details of these things, and that we have none other than it's happening today, this afternoon, is pretty remarkable. It's credit to everybody that kept that secret. That's a good job.
Pick one. What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be the fadeaway. I think it's either going to be that, or I think it's going to be hands in the air on the table. I think because both of those, and maybe I'm just being biased here, because those are the first two things that I think of.
Yeah.
But it could be either of those. It could not be any of those.
Okay,
There's
I'm
8 or 9 things you could do.
Why am I starting to lean towards, that was my thought when we chatted about this earlier in the week. I thought it was going to be the fadeaway. Why am I leaning towards it's not going to be the fadeaway?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Tell me.
Now there's 2 that are stuck in my head that people are saying. I don't think it's going to be the jersey.
I don't think so
tug,
either.
But that's such an iconic moment. Why is this one where he's pointing out? I've seen people continue to put this up on my feed.
The one from the letter. The picture from the letter when he retires. The one he's
could be
walking off like this, like something like that. It could be,
like
but
with his back facing, like LA Live Plaza, like his face facing crypto.
The stadium, yeah.
It would make more sense for his face-to-face crypto. What do they say? The house that Kobe built, right?
Sure.
Staples Center, the house that Kobe built. I know crypto now, but he built Staples Center.
What's awesome about it, and it's very Kobe about the whole thing.
Could be it too.
It could be that too. Yeah, but the Shaq statue was going to be that. That's Shaq's move, right? The dunk, pull the rim down, feet up in the air, knees high. That was going to be it. If you were going to do a Kareem statue and it wasn't shooting a skyhook, you did it wrong. Right. If it's Magic and he's not running the break with his finger out, you did it wrong.
Sure.
Right? But with Kobe, there isn't that because there's just more to choose from. That those guys had signature shots, signature moments. That Kobe has a series of those is different.
And it's hard to capture Kobe's aura. I think it's more about Kobe is like the intimidation factor, like the aura that's around him,
the intensity.
Him. The intensity, and it's hard to sometimes capture that in a statue, but I'm excited to see how they do it.
And the chapters of his career. Yeah. That his career is not...
What's the number on the statue?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. 8 or 24. They asked him. Which one was a better career, 8 or 24? He says 24 was harder because he understood what it was like without Shaq. So he would like 24 on his statue as opposed to 8. That's what he
both?
I'm sure.
I was going to say one on the front, one on the back. That'd be kind of.
I'm sure 24 for him. It's so about a week ago. Where were we? Were we in Boston, New York? I forget where we were, but John and Michael were talking about Kobe and we're talking about the statue and everything else, and they were talking about Game 7. Lakers-Celtics. And the way they were describing, like Michael kept saying, can you imagine if they lost that game? I think they were saying which game, do you think Kobe was most proud about, or what moment Kobe was most proud about in his entire career? And Michael was like, if he lost to the Boston Celtics at Crypto.com Arena, maybe that leans more to the statue you're talking about because that was championship number 5. Not only did I pass Shaquille O'Neal, but I'm tied now with Magic Johnson. I beat the Celtics Game 7 here at Crypto. Yeah. Maybe that one has the most meaning to it. But the 8 and the 24, comparing the two, the 24, he had to be the guy. He had to be the leader. He had to be the one that kind of drove the ship.
What's crazy is if you look at the numbers from 8 and you look at the numbers from 24, they're virtually identical. There's with the exception of the titles, and it's 3-2, and he has an odd number. One was going to get more than the other. But points, All-Star games.
Stupid.
Ridiculous. It's not like kind of close. They're mathematically identical, like 0.00 percentages away from the entire thing.
So why not have 8 on the front and 24 on the back?
Great idea.
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't hear Emily say that, but 8 on the front, 24. And why? And by the way, it should really, really be the jersey tug.
You like that as your top choice?
I absolutely like that. I think it's very iconic.
It's a great choice.
It's very iconic. It's also he's showing his heart. If you're not going to have Gigi in there, you can kind of play off of that into that because this is most likely for his time as
his
a Laker,
facial expression,
his family, all of that. All of that is just so iconic in my mind.
However, you're not wrong. But let's say it's what he's saying, and it's Game 7, him standing up and doing this in front of all the crowd, in front of all Laker fans, getting his 5th NBA championship against the Boston Celtics. If it is that, it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong. Again, yes, if it's not the jersey tug, it should be the arms stretched out. I mean, that's a big statue that you're having his arms stretched out.
And these are both great options, and this is why this guy is just him. He is who he is. None of these are like, nah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. And the shot is the fadeaway. Like when you think of the shot from Kobe, it's that highly contested,
waiting for
maybe
two
a
defenders.
Double team, right?
Where's the second guy?
And by the way, how great would it be if he were double teamed in that?
Yeah.
You're going to put other people in double
No,
team.
but they're
hands.
anonymous, right?
Yeah.
You're not putting like
You're
a
just putting
person in there,
hands.
but you're having bodies that he's the outstretched hand that's defending him.
What if it's Matt Barnes putting the ball in his face?
I'm here for that.
That would be pretty cool too, right?
How about Kobe in the locker room hugging the trophy with that
Championship.
jacket?
Here's
that's
why
a good one too.
It is a good one, but here's why no. I think of Jordan first when I think of that picture because Jordan has virtually the same picture of hugging that trophy.
That's fair.
Right? And it's just they both took a very similar picture, but at least in my mind, I think of Jordan first, and I don't want Kobe to be second.
I get that.
Do you know why I lean a little bit away from the fadeaway? Because I do think of Jordan. That his iconic moments, he has iconic moments on his own. Now, listen, I know Jordan's he's this, but virtually every, Michael Jordan mastered the fadeaway. And Kobe, obviously, to the best of his ability, replicated the fade. But Kobe has his own iconic moments that I think you could take
with the fadeaway. And also, I think that's just a play. Like he has so many facial expressions, things he did, jersey tug, arms out, all these different things that I don't think that this should be
There's
just a regular
one too,
fadeaway.
right?
When he's got his
fist pump.
Do you think
of
his jaw out?
After Phoenix?
That's like Tiger?
Yeah,
do you think a Tiger
Phoenix.
with a fist bump?
No,
or do you
because
think
it's different.
It's different.
Tiger's this.
Yeah.
Kobe's this.
Yep.
Right? Like Tiger's fist is pointed
Lamar
towards
jumps
the sky.
into his arms.
So
and,
let me ask you this: do you think there's a bigger honor in sports than getting a statue?
No, I don't. And it brings us to the next thing that I want to talk about. But we're just getting this thing started. Here's what's going on today. You can join us at the East Central Hotel today, starting at 1 o'clock, 2824, for a celebration of a legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge from 1 until 5:30 today. Join us, of course, in celebrating a day that we will remember forever. Ticket giveaways, exclusive merchandise, food, drinks, and a pair of tickets to tonight's game against the Nuggets. A special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for celebrating with us. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. We will see you today at the Nixo Lounge starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we will be there. Come hang out. You can come upstairs. We're on the balcony.
Yeah.
Just come in. It's going to be a blast.
Even if you don't have tickets, because, again, you could win tickets for all you know. So even if you don't have tickets to tonight's game, go to the Nixo Lounge.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast up there. We're going to have a lot of people up there, so make sure you get there. Get there at 1, too. That we're going to be hanging out the entire time.
So you asked the question, Greg, is there a better, bigger, more prestigious honor than getting a statue? And I think the answer is no, and that's why that embarrassment of riches across the street is getting a whole nother level today. It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2-8. 24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason in Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. It is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava. We're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday.
¡Kobe! ¡Triple business! ¡Dámelo! 96-95. Su último juego y hasta puso a Jack Nicholson a bailar. Esa es la mamba negra. Por eso todos lo quieren aquí, en todo Lakerlandia, hasta China. Lo adoran. No lo quieren venir.
Man, that's a great call by Adrian Garcia Marquez. He used to do the Spanish broadcast for the Lakers.
He does LAFC now too, right?
He does the Chargers.
Okay.
I've heard him on baseball. He does World Series for Fox, I believe. And he used to do LAFC for us for a little bit. Yeah.
I heard Damelo in there, which is Give It To Me, I believe. And I heard Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he said
Bailar, who's dancing.
Yeah. He says there's 96-95 Lakers. Kobe Bryant even made Jack Nicholson dance. They love him. They don't want him to. They don't want to see him go. They love him from here all the way to China. It is just people love him.
That is a great call. And look, it's such a cool day. It's such a the emotions are very mixed because of everything that has brought us to this moment. But I think it's just a great day to be able to join that group over there. And we've known he's going to be out there probably. Even when he was still playing, it's like, even after 3 titles with Shaq, you're like, okay, that's happening. Even if he had never gotten another one, it was still going to happen. He got 2 more. He had a whole nother wave of Laker greatness. But you asked the question, Greg, about is there any better honor, any higher honor, any more prestigious honor? I can't either.
I could throw a couple in there, but I don't think it's going to meet that criteria. If the court is named after you, okay? But I still think a statue is bigger.
Yeah.
If a street, it's Chick Hearn Court or Chick Hearn's Court Street, whatever it is, it's literally one of the arteries of getting around Crypto.com Arena. It's named after him.
Yeah, I mean, but birds get the name of the streets.
Cardinal Way,
exactly.
Blue Jay Avenue,
right? Yeah, you get those. So a street, it's cool. But
Raven Place.
Yeah. How many Martin Luther Kings?
I mean, there's everyone in every city.
But that's my point. My point is, I'm saying that it obviously, yes, a fruit does get it, and a bird gets it as well. I understand.
We have a whole where I grew up. There was the bird
Apricot.
streets,
but it's not bigger than a statue. So even if I try to throw in, okay, what if you get this? What if you get that? I don't know if there's a bigger honor than a statue.
By the way, with those two things, if you have a court named after you, if you have a street named after you, you probably have a statue that you got as well. So
odds are good.
Yeah.
Odds are really good. And getting a statue here, out there, where I'm pointing across the street to Crypto.com, with the company that you're going to keep. Right? Think about this. I'm just picking teams locally. Clippers don't have a statue.
Nope.
The Phoenix
they don't
Suns.
have a jersey.
But what I'm saying, the Phoenix Suns, there's not an area where all of their legends hang out together. Shaquille O'Neal could have a statue in 3 different places, theoretically, right? Magic Johnson is one of the great players in the history of the league. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar might be the greatest player of all time. Jerry West is the blanking logo of the whole damn league. They're all out here.
Right.
It's not just, hey, you were really good for us for 8 years. That's not the threshold to get a statue out here. That's the threshold to be canonized in Oklahoma City, in Atlanta, in these other places, that you have to get one of these.
Yeah, and this one this one will be the biggest.
It's a big deal.
It will be the biggest in the sense that if I told you today, who's the greatest Laker of all time, you can make arguments. You could do this, you could do that. A lot of people are going to put Kobe on the top of that list because he's 20 years with one franchise, the 8 and the 24, like you mentioned, and his meaning to Los Angeles and his meaning to Laker fans, not just in LA, but everywhere, it's just different. It's just different. It would have been different, period, if he plays his 20 years and that's it. But some of the circumstances as well, it obviously takes him being such an icon and a legend. That's going to be very, very important. That's sitting outside of Crypto coming up in a few hours here.
Yeah, I mean, look, to your point, Trav, it's like, you're not just a Hall of Famer. No. Not every Hall of Famer gets one, especially in the NBA, because everybody's in there.
Especially here.
No, to get outside of Crypto.com Arena, you have to have done something that was amazing.
Think about who doesn't have one.
For years.
Right? Think about, you don't think if James Worthy played for the Portland Trailblazers, he wouldn't have one?
Sure.
Right? Sure. If he played for the Phoenix Suns or the Houston Rockets, of course he would.
Yeah.
But here, it's like, get in line, pal.
Yeah. Pal.
Like
he'll probably. Would he
I don't
get
think
one?
he'll get one.
He got his jersey retired. That's probably going to be.
Jersey's retired. I don't know if
he wasn't here long enough. Maybe like
Wilt Chamberlain doesn't have one here.
Yeah,
that's an amazing.
Yeah.
He also another guy. He's Philadelphia. Like he's got him. All
sure,
over the
he's
place.
been all over. LeBron's going to get one.
You think so?
I do.
Even if he's only, he's here 6-7 years.
Six,
to your
7
point,
years, broke the all-time scoring record, did win a title. I think, and it's the last stop on the LeBron train. Most likely, I think he gets one.
So it'll be years from now.
Oh,
That's,
yeah. No, I'm not
it's
saying
not
that.
coming like soon after
The
he's
mold
retired.
has not been
No. It would be a long time. I think there's enough fans out there that are just not.
I don't think the fans would be the ones banging down the door to get it done.
No,
I think it would
of
be
course
the
not.
organization.
But there's going to be people ahead of LeBron, I feel like. But it's...
No, I don't think there'd be anybody ahead.
Yeah. I'm all ears.
Because if it's anybody...
Yeah, Marcelo Huertas.
He has some amazing passes, if you want to be kind of to nobody.
Yeah, I think if anybody gets one and it's following Kobe, that's really the only name that would... Unless they decide that he's not going to get one, and we're standing here 20 years, 15 years down the road.
I think in the
something.
city of Los Angeles, and this isn't about LeBron today, but the city of Los Angeles, I think LeBron is very polarizing. And I know it's going to come from the front office and it could come from the Lakers organization, but I think the city sees LeBron in very mixed ways. Whereas the city of Los Angeles, everybody out there loves every single person that is out there.
Yes.
Like you are beloved if you're out.
Well, their
crypto.
greatest moments came with that team.
Right.
Even if you played for other teams, Kareem played for other teams.
Sure.
Shaq played for other teams.
Sure. Elgin Baylor played for the Clippers.
Yeah, but their greatest moment, and that's not true of LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Right, his greatest moments came other places. He ran the Clippers for a while.
I don't know if he played for.
I'm not correcting him, but I don't know.
That might have been wrong.
The idea of your best being here, and I love how you said it, Greg. You can make the Hall of Fame here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's threshold one. Retirement of your jersey is probably on par.
Yeah.
Right, and then what is this? We were trying to count it. Is it including Chick? It's 7 Lakers. I think that's what it is.
I think
it will be 7 after.
I think there's 11 or 12 that are out there, including Kings and Chick Hearn,
Oscar De La Hoya.
and Bob Miller,
Gretzky,
and Luke Robitaille.
It's crazy, and that you've cut your path into that circle. It's
special.
What other teams could do it? The Yankees could do it. The Celtics could do it. Is that the end of the list? It might be.
I mean, I can't think. You're not going to do anybody. 49ers. I mean, they
Yeah.
have a bunch of
Interesting.
big. Does
Rice,
The Steelers.
Montana, Steelers is interesting.
yeah?
Steelers is interesting.
You can't have
But they have
one
rings of
era.
honors. They don't really do.
Yeah.
You can't have one era. You have to have 50, 60 years of success to say, okay, we can grab people from multiple eras.
Dodger Stadium has a bunch of.
They've got
people.
great ones.
They have great ones.
They have
They're
great ones.
Jackie's out there.
Yeah.
Koufax.
Football does more like big moments. Like if there was an immaculate reception statue, that would work. I feel like football does more of that.
But, yes, you're right, and they're more of Ring of Honor, like you said, Greg.
Yeah,
but
Ring of Honor.
I'm just talking more, theoretical of just. You're telling the history of the NFL. You can't tell it without Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. You can't do it, right?
No.
You can't tell the history of Major League Baseball without Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle and those guys. You can't do it.
I mean, the Cubs
right?
have some people, yeah.
But the Yankees have like 10. The Lakers have 10. There's only a few teams that have that kind of history, that have that. The Dodgers, if you're telling the history of the sport, the 3 guys that I think you have to include in the history of the sport are Jackie, Vin Scully, and Fernando. Those are the 3 guys that have to be put into the history. You can't tell it without them. The Lakers have like 5 or 6 of those guys.
Yeah, the
7 or 8.
Celtics. The Celtics have a lot
Celtics
of dudes,
have it too.
and they should. I don't know if they have statues. I haven't been to Boston Garden, so they may or may not.
I don't think they do.
I don't. Have you been to Boston Garden? I mean, I haven't. So
I have been, but
they could. They could put. But they also retire a lot of jerseys. Like if you played there, you can retire your jersey there. So, but they have a ton of dudes that can make it.
The details for today.
There's a hockey one outside of TD Garden.
Okay.
Oh, is it Bobby Orr?
Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
The details, not necessarily
Is it
for
him
today,
flying through
but
the air?
for
Yeah, and then Bill Russell.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill Russell has to be out there.
for tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Larry
10
Bird's
a.m.
getting hosed.
Open to the public.
Open to the public,
Yep.
10 a.m. So Laker fans can go out starting at 10 a.m. and actually see the statue once it's unveiled.
Yes, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, we're not going to be able to see it till tomorrow either. Like we
Watch
cannot
it on
see
TV.
Yeah.
Right. But
It's going to be on Spectrum at
Yeah.
3:30, so you can watch it. We're also going to be airing the statue
Yeah,
unveiling
3:34.
live on our air, starting at 3:30. It'll go commercial free from 3:30 to 4.
Awesome. It's also the NBA trade deadline today. Guys are moving around. Nothing super huge yet. We'll get you caught up on everybody that has moved. Plus, a lot of people want to weigh in on the statue and what's going on outside of crypto today. That's all coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Before you do any of that, you got to put that Prize Picks app on your phone. You got to put the code 710 in because you're going to get up to $100 matched on that first deposit, and they're giving you a freebie. We know what's coming up on Sunday, the big game. We know who's quarterbacking that Chiefs team. It's Patrick Mahomes. More or less than a yard, a half a yard. If he throws for 1 yard, you win that part of the bet. More or less at Prize Picks. It's that easy. You can turn a little money into a lot of money.
Okay, got the NBA picks all ready to go for tonight. Lakers obviously taking on the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go with the 2 point guards. D'Angelo Russell, more than or less than 17.5 points. I'm going to go less on this one. I think they're going to focus keying on D'Lo a little bit tonight. Jamal Murray, more than or less than 23.5 points. I'll go more than. Jamal Murray's always played well against the Lakers. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up. I'm one of them. Trav is another one. Join me. Join the both of us. Watch your favorite players and get paid doing it. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app. Use that code 710. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And you know, this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
crazy. But 24 was scary. Respect his name, and else he might show up as Bloody Mary. Won't forget the things he mentioned, how to get a Larry.
Who this is?
Whatever necessary.
No.
I think NBA. NBA player.
Oh, is this Dame? Yeah.
I did it out respect for the greatest at Staples Center.
Dame's got rhythm.
Okay, Slee.
Dame is.
Okay,
No, we
Slee.
were playing that yesterday or last week.
Yeah, last week. Yeah. A listener sent us the song. Actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Dame's good.
Sasha.
Sasha
Jose
is,
Calderon.
Sasha's in the background.
Sacre.
It's Robert Sacre. You're throwing it way back. What's up, Yates?
Nothing much. Got my what is now, I guess this is an illegal Kobe hoodie now. Like, they made these and there was a cease and desist, and some of us have them. So I'm not really going to bring that up, but I got one.
I was given one of those as well.
Okay.
My youngest son, Michael, wears it a lot. He loves it. We've never not gone to a restaurant somewhere. Hey, where'd you get that?
Oh, extremely popular.
I will buy that up.
I mean, if somebody today offers me going rate here, we're around $5K. I mean, if you want,
seriously?
No, not seriously.
Michael, take it off.
But if somebody wants it on Kobe Day, and they're a legitimately big Laker and Kobe fan, and they got the money, cash, no Cash App, we'll take it. Why not? I mean, I've gotten as much use out of this thing. I've worn it on TV a bunch of times as I'm going to get.
What do you think the actual statue itself is going to be? We've gone around the whole. We've landed on like 6 different things. We all think it's that thing.
We're
until
down to
we hear the next
37
thing.
of them.
I think it's got to be the pulling the jersey over the heart.
and Bergman.
I just think that's the best actual statue
and
pose.
I talked myself out of it. But now you guys are
I just think it's the best actual statue pose. Like, I don't want to say subject.
You don't think his arms out to his side?
Subject agnostic, but I do think that not when I think of Kobe, but when somebody who is not necessarily the biggest Kobe Bean Bryant historian or whatever walks by and say, "Oh yeah, I know who that is. That's definitely Kobe Bryant." A basketball pose, I'm not going to say leads anything to confusion, because you're not confusing Kobe with anybody, but that one is far more iconic, specifically to the average sports fan goer that would walk by crypto at any given moment.
Well, I will say this. There's something about that pose, too. It's his facial expression, right? The expression on his face. And by the way, I could get sold on this. If you want to pick a different one, you can probably sell me on it in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But that one specifically, like Greg mentioned, I'm all heart.
Right.
But then the facial expression is...
It's fierce.
Yeah.
It's very fierce.
It's fierce.
I'm a warrior.
And that is,
I'm a warrior.
When you think of him, his ferocity is
That's him.
Probably the top characteristic when you think of him as an athlete.
I'm going to outfight you. I'm going to outplay. Like, I'm
going to knock you over, even if you're my teammate and we're in the Olympics, and I told everybody on the team I was going to do it.
I watched that. I saw that again the other night. And it's just like, because I knew it was coming, right? I'd seen it before. I knew it was coming, and it was still like, I can't believe he just, like it had just happened all over again. Like,
the look on Pau's face is he's sitting on the ground like, well, damn, and it's like, yep, that happened.
Pau wasn't ready for it, I think speaks to it. Like, I think Pau thought that, hey, I'm his guy. We're in this together. He's not going to do that to me.
Yep.
Wrong.
That's why Dwayne Wade, you see Dwayne Wade, LeBron, all their reactions were like, once we saw that, we're like, okay. Every time I watch that highlight, why are you doing Pau like that, man?
On a more
Maybe that's the
like
statue.
Right. On a more kind-hearted note, it has been really great to see Pau and how his relationship with Kobe's family and children has continued to stay intact, and how he's been a person in their lives and just been the friend that we knew that he was to Kobe. And that's been something that I think, with all the history that we're looking back on in terms of him singularly, in terms of the community of the Lakers and so forth, that's something that I don't want to say is easy to forget about, but is easy to overlook when you think about how this has transpired since that fateful day.
When he got his jersey retired, when Pau got his jersey retired, there's such a marriage between Kobe and Pau, right? And to think that Kobe was going to have a relationship with Shaq the way he did, the way those two were so intertwined, Shaq and Kobe, like those, they just went together to eventually have another player that was such a key part, an integral part in his career of getting 2 more championships, and then the relationship, like you said, after.
I also think it speaks to who Kobe Bryant was as a human. I mean, he wasn't just a Lower Merion grad. The kid grew up in Italy after his dad played there forever, and that international flair was a big part of what he brought to the game. And I think Pau and him had sort of a more, I don't want to say a more mature relationship as friends, but it was different.
Powell was different, and which I think helped a great deal because Shaq and Kobe, you said peanut butter. They were peanut butter and peanut butter, right? They both were like, no,
crunchy, one smooth.
This is my sandwich, and it's like, hell, it's my sandwich, and they're fighting over the damn sandwich.
And then it was like, hey, you can have it for now, but I swear that sandwich is going to be mine.
But also, a double peanut butter sandwich isn't bad.
It was to the tune of 3 great sandwiches,
we're mixing
right?
crunchy and smooth peanut butter on sandwiches now. I don't know about that. That's tough for me.
Powell was 100% comfortable with Kobe having his hand on the wheel. That when you need me to step in, I'm here for you. I'll do it, but I'm not going to fight you for it.
He needed him for that.
To use your analogy, just so you all know how much I listen to the show, I know what makes a good sandwich for Travis Rogers. It's the bread.
Of course it is.
Powell was willing to be the bread in that situation to make the sandwich better, and I think that's what made it such a great relationship.
Toast on a PB&J, highly underrated.
Don't hate it. It's got to be
open-faced, first of all.
Oof, that's tough.
Get a little melty. You got to eat it fast.
The thing is, I'm a 3-layer. I make mine where you put peanut butter on both sides of the middle slice, and you put jelly on both the insides of the outside slice. Bang, 3-layer guy.
A lot of bread.
Cut that bad boy and die.
You're a skinny guy. I'm not a skinny guy. I have to. That third piece of bread's a bad option for me. No, it's not the work. Like the more carbs is never a good choice for me.
Well, you can split
I'm
that
going
with somebody, and you still get sort of a sandwich and a half.
I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with that word.
Got your kids.
Excellent point.
I'm very unfamiliar with that.
You guys been walking around downtown LA recently?
Okay, because he hadn't seen it and he hadn't heard of it. Give us what happened and what's going on across the street with some of these high rises.
The first time I decided I wanted to move to Los Angeles was the ESPYs Award when Carmelo, LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Paul got on stage. That building was still in disrepair then. That was many years ago. It is no longer occupied, and recently a bunch of graffiti artists, please refrain from using the word taggers. That's a very specifically different thing. For those who don't know, I was a graffiti artist when I was a kid. A long time ago, that's what I did. That's how I sort of had fun.
Okay.
They are street artists who have basically taken to the entire building, and every single floor, almost every single window
almost 30 floors,
or wall
maybe.
has what's known as a throw-up on it. A throw-up is basically a faster version of a piece, which is more detailed. So 2 colors, quick throw up, big fat letters so you can see them from a drone or from a street or from a plane or from a helicopter. Dude, they have made this building one of the most premier street art installations in the country. At Art Basel 2 years ago, they did this by commission. Back in the day in 5 Points in Queens, in New York, this was like a place that graffiti writers went to do things. It's since torn down. This was a throwback, old school element of street art that I haven't seen in a long time. I cannot wait to walk by and see it with my eyeballs today.
Because I don't know this. What is the like? I need somebody to stand. I need one of these guys, these graffiti artists,
to explain what's happening.
Hey, this is why we did this here. This is why we did it. Is it that detailed?
I can find some information out about that, but I'm telling you, it's probably just open spot. And the big part about it is that the property management group said,
leave it.
Go on. Do whatever you like.
Off.
They're not letting us develop anyway.
Yeah.
What do we care if there's a gorgeous thing that makes people know what this is?
Could it not be a stance on homelessness? That there's so many. This all could be places
it could be something
for
else.
people who are homeless to live, but it. Is not.
It's really cool to
and
look at, though.
Now just decrepit.
And so for those of you who are saying, oh, they're vandalizing, but listen, this is an art installation as far as I'm concerned, and it's fantastic. Can't wait to go see it.
It is also a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN Slee. Listen for the cue to call, and when you hear it, be caller number 7 at 877-710-ESPN. Caller number 7 will win a pair of tickets to one of the upcoming Netflix is a Joke shows at the Hollywood Bowl. Tickets are on sale right now for Netflix is a Joke Fest. 350-plus artists, 300-plus shows, 35-plus venues, taking over L.A., coming up in May 2 through the 12th, 2024. Grab yours today.
We were giving away some fantastic shows
last
week. We have great ones every time on every Thursday, so make sure you tune in every Thursday all day because these are big comics that you can get these tickets for. So definitely want to tune in all day.
Hey, did you see Foo coming up next? It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And you know, this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise. Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it, I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So, hey, did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Okay, one quick tweet I want to read here before we get to Jorge. Chris Haynes NBA on TNT, Bleacher Report, the probable path for the Los Angeles Lakers is standing pat at trade deadline with potential to acquire another star player in the offseason when armed with 3 first-round picks, league sources tell TNT Bleacher Report. So I guess don't be surprised or shocked that we're sitting here an hour and 10 minutes and the Lakers don't make a move.
Not only that, I think it's the best course of action.
Agreed.
Yeah, it just, look, next.
There are only so many players. There are only so many moves. At some point, you have to play the basketball and win the game.
And you're not dead if you do nothing. You still have a heartbeat. You still have there's a path. It's narrow, but it exists.
Well, there's a little bit of also they didn't get desperate and say, well, we got to make a move. If they didn't make a move, I'm sure they sat back and said, we don't like the moves in front of us. Don't make it.
What's up, Fu?
All right, Fu. So, I have my routine in the morning. So I drop off my daughter in school. I get on the freeway. And at a certain point when you're bumper-to-bumper traffic, you start vibing, So I listen to all kinds of music, salsa, hip-hop, whatever. So on my playlist, this song happened to come on. It's a salsa song. I haven't heard it in a minute. And
you were dancing?
I got in my element, man. I started singing. I started kind of dancing. And then I noticed somebody next to me is this woman.
Watching
she looks
you.
over and she's laughing and she's like, yo, good job. Like, hey, keep it up. I was blushing. I was red. Have you ever gotten caught singing or doing something in your car, but somebody?
Of course, right? I mean, we all have, whether it's singing or maybe,
taking the elevator to the top floor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cleaning up a little bit, shall we say? There's some things that
I think
you get
were
caught.
listening to the Dodgers postgame show and you were just vibing.
Took
You
your
were
shirt
very
off
excited.
listening to the Dodgers postgame.
It's funny. Susan and I were leaving. We went to a basketball game last night, and we're in the parking lot, and the Silverado is parked perpendicular to the flow of traffic. Okay. And it was a high school basketball game. So this carload of high school girls are parked right in front of us doing exactly what you were doing. They got the music up there, dancing. They're having the time of their life.
Nice.
And Susan and I are kind of enjoying seeing them having a good time. And so I kind of flick my high beams at them. and they look at it and they all turn red like, oh, God. But it was awesome. It was fun to see somebody having a good time.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think we're all.
I'm a big car dancer as well. Like on the dance floor, unlikely. In the whip, got it moving.
Okay,
Laced up?
So
oh yeah, I got it all.
What's funny? I think you said it perfect. Sometimes it's just a song comes on at the right time, or the timing is good, or you got the windows down and the weather is beautiful. Like there's a certain setup that I think gets you in your element. Yeah. It can't be raining and you got the sunroof open, right? Like it's not going to be that.
Right.
I think we've all been caught in some of those situations.
Come on,
yeah.
Trumpets, bro, it was amazing.
One of the coolest times for me was that we were all getting to the Taylor Swift concert, and we're all decked out, whatever we're gonna wear. You kind of can tell who's going to the Taylor Swift concert. People have their cars painted, like on the way to Taylor Swift concert, etc. And so it was fun. Me and my friends were all loaded up in our car. We were blasting it out my car and. Windows down, and we see other people on the drive there, and they're just pointing at us like, "You're going there too!" And it was just really fun. So that's a cool time for that.
Fun fact: Friday's ESPN Daily episode all about Taylor Swift. And
lucky number 13.
That's a professional.
Is
tease.
it about her just egregious disrespect of Celine Dion?
You'll have to tune in. You can get it where you download all your podcasts, obviously.
Is there a YouTube component?
There is not a YouTube component.
You know what does have a YouTube component, don't you?
What's that?
Locked on Rams.
Bang.
That's right. Jorge.
All right, Fu. So this a little bit of soccer news here. A blue card is to be introduced in football. The new card will see players removed from the field for 10 minutes if they commit a cynical foul or show dissent. Yeah. So I don't like the rule.
What does that mean?
It's like a sin bin situation, like hockey.
Right. So they're going to sit you out for 10 minutes or whatever it is. I don't like the rule because you get a yellow, it's a warning not to, do another foul like that and if you get ejected, you get ejected and you miss the next game.
Right.
I think that's more than enough. We don't need to see players come out for 10 minutes.
And is it also, are they playing down for 10 minutes?
They're playing down for 10 minutes.
Well, let me ask a question, though. Is it above or below the yellow?
They haven't specified
Sounds
it yet.
like
Because
below.
if the idea is that you're handing out less
Are they
yellows
cumulative?
to hand out
Right.
more blues and
Right.
the accumulation factor,
only tournaments.
I think that makes sense. If it's above the yellow, I don't think that makes sense because then you're not preventing people from just getting yellows.
Here's
left
what I
and right.
don't understand, and I hate the rule. Maybe soccer players, it's no problem. This is what they like doing. So I get a yellow, and I'm missing the next game.
No.
It's not one yellow, but there's multiple infractions that you can get to where I can miss the next game, correct?
Like in the World Cup, for instance.
Yeah.
The World Cup, if you get one in the first game and then you get one in the second game, I think if you get the third one, then you miss the following
If you
game.
accumulate 3 before the knockouts, you miss one
miss the
game.
knockout
So
game.
let me, so Trav, let's take that for a quick second. I got a technical foul in game 1. And it's the NBA Finals. I got a technical foul in Game 2, and because I got a technical foul in Game 3, I hate the adding up of this, and I have to miss Game 4.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't hate that in an NBA playoff series. I mean, if you think about the
Think
world,
about you're taking out. Okay, he gets upset because there was a foul call that shouldn't be called. Like, that's such small things to say. I'm taking out one of the best players in the world.
But if it's Draymond
in the most
doing
important
this,
game.
come on, man.
what if somebody gets 2 ejectable technicals within one series? There is a reasonable thought that, hey, buddy, maybe you shouldn't come
the
back.
problem is, and then maybe this is what they're trying to alleviate, and I'm talking out of my you-know-what when it comes to soccer, but I'm just thinking from a basketball perspective, not all technical fouls are created equal.
Exactly.
Right? And maybe that's what it is, that there's a technical foul of pull your head out of your you-know-what, and then there's Draymond Green punching a guy in the face.
But that's
there's
given.
different.
That's given. They're going to get ejected. They'll get ejected for that game, and then the league will review it and say, hey, he's suspended for a game.
Okay, but there's 2 different things here. You said this is in the Olympics, Jorge?
No, this is just something they
League
want to
play?
introduce.
Okay, see, for me, this is a tournament rule. This is not something you do every week and every weekend and week out in the league. It's something you do when you've got a finite number of teams and a finite number of games to be played in a circumstance.
Breaking down soccer.
Hey, man, that's what I'm here for.
Look at us.
The Lakers are reportedly going to sit tight. There's still about an hour to go before the trade deadline. They haven't done anything yet. If they do sit tight, are they letting you know what they're doing next? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
And it is a Ticket Thursday on.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava, and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24, for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And you know, this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
The unveiling coming up in just a few hours, Slee.
Yeah.
The NBA trade deadline coming up in exactly 1 hour.
Yep.
And the Lakers play the Nuggets tonight.
Man.
There's a lot going on.
And it's a Ticket Thursday So I was on the phone and I was telling the person who won, Carl, what he won, and it was tickets to see Seinfeld, Bargatze, Gaffigan, and Maniscalco at the Hollywood Bowl. Again, these are fantastic shows that you
What
get a
a
chance
show.
to see, so make sure you tune in all day. All the shows are doing this, so not just our show.
When I was walking back in from the restroom, I heard you talking to the winner M, and I heard her saying, "Okay, you're going to see Seinfeld, Bargatze, and Maniscalco." I'm like, seriously? Like, really? Yeah, like I literally turned my head and looked at Emily like, you got to be kidding me.
Sounds like an upcoming Dodger game. You're going to see Mookie, Freddie, Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, and
Unless
Will
you're
Smith
Greg.
is like the back page.
Greg's like, I don't like Vezia. He's pitched 7 innings this year, and one of them wasn't very good.
Berg's going to complain that the entrance at Dodger Stadium, that the landscaping doesn't look good enough.
Find something, right?
Even if he gets that extra lefty.
It is Super Week on 710, and thanks to our friends at Islands for helping make sure we have super squares. Listen for the cue to call. Be caller number 7, and you win 2 squares on our Islands Super Board to be randomly selected by us. And on Sunday, you can win fabulous gift cards from Islands, brought to you by Islands Restaurants, your local paradise. And there's not a lot of empty spots on that board. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, less than 15.
Right, so technically, since they get 2, so you're basically talking about 7, 8 spots left.
Not many, and somebody's going to win some Island gift cards and get some nacho cheese fries, cheddar cheese fries with ranch dressing, and if you're so inclined, I highly recommend an ice cold beer. If you are into such things. If not, get an iced tea. Get a lemonade.
At the top.
That little chip on the bottom of the mug where they left it. Come on, man.
I should go to Islands because I'm getting prepared. I'm going to Hawaii next month. I'm super excited. I gotta go to Islands and get experience. Yeah.
Where are you going in Hawaii?
I gotta stay at the Alani, and
Is that on Maui?
Oahu. It's on
Oahu. Okay.
So, I'm super excited.
Have you been before?
I've never been.
Oh,
you have a blast.
I've never left the continental U.S.
Okay.
So it'll be fun to leave at least this part of the United States.
I haven't either.
You've been to Hawaii
I've been
multiple times?
Twice.
Okay. Jorge, you've been
Twice, yeah.
twice. Me, I think I've been twice too.
Mm-hmm.
Both times I've gone, 3. I've been 3 times. Both times, and once I went as a kid with my parents. Susan and I went there on our honeymoon.
Okay.
And then once we took our family on vacation. So 3 times. Every single time I've been there, I was like, how can I make a living? I don't want to go home.
You guys may not see me back after.
I think that's like, did you guys have that same experience? Like, how can I just stay here forever?
We're going to get an email from Emily. It's not even going to be, she's not even going to text us or call us. And
Take a
she's gonna
comment,
say,
Emily.
I'm working at for the University of Hawaii sports radio station out there. And that's it. We're never going to talk
Solid
to Emily.
life.
You guys want to hear something cool?
I don't think you can live on that. Like you're doing. I literally like. Okay, how much do I need to live here?
Yeah.
How long am I
Hawaii is
willing to do it?
expensive, too.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
But
Over the years.
it's not. It wasn't a theoretical exercise. It was a. Okay. How much longer do I have to pay for these kids? Where am I going to go? How much money do I have in the
Well, I
bank? How
don't
much
have
could I
any
dip
kids.
into it? That's what I'm saying. Like your math will be different than my math.
Girl math.
Yeah, there you
Girl
go.
math, no
You'll
kids,
never
yeah.
have to go on vacation again. You'll live in paradise.
So somebody that tells me and Brenda is like, hey, can we go to Alani for like Valentine's Day? I mean, we can just go for the day and then come back.
That's awesome.
I was like,
That's awesome.
Sure.
That is awesome.
Yo.
God bless her.
Exactly.
You should take her. Come
Yeah,
on, what are, you,
day.
what are you, bad dad? Come
Emily,
on,
can
man.
Can we
Step
fit
up.
in your carry?
Yeah, totally. You and your family can join me and Claire. It'll be a
Right.
fun time. So additional news to what Chris Haynes said on his tweet last segment. But this is Dave McMenamin. He just is adding, saying, with 1 hour to go until the trade deadline, I'm hearing there's been nothing close to a deal for the Lakers so far this morning. That's from Dave McMenamin.
I think that is not only the wisest course of action because there isn't a name that's going to take them from where they are right now to, okay, let's go. Bring on the Denver Nuggets. Bring on the Milwaukee Bucks. Bring on the Boston Celtics. I don't think that name was out there available for them to get. A, because I don't think the name's available. And 2, because the Lakers don't have the pieces available to go get one of those guys, short of the 2 guys that they would never let go, right? So that wasn't going to happen. The around the edges, okay, does it make a big difference? Probably not. And then that middle guy that we've been talking so much about over the last month or so, they probably didn't like the price, right? That the price that for a player like Murray was probably something that was a little bit above and beyond where they wanted to go. And I'm just speculating here. But I think that the result of it is fascinating. The result being we are in year 6 of LeBron James with the Lakers. He's in year 21 in his career. He's 39 years old. He's got a player option at the end of this year. And because I can only interpret his emojis, I'm left to believe that he wanted to improve this team, that time was running out, and they've opted to, you know what, this is the best we can do with what we've got right now. We're going to roll this into the summer, and then we'll see what we can do. Is this at least a smoke signal or at least a little bit of a tell of them thinking about the future more than the present?
I think, can we put a pin on that for a second? Because I think the issue that I have is this is the team that they thought was good enough to not have to worry about a trade deadline. You think about what they needed to happen at the trade deadline to, like you said, we want them to be a part of the mix. We want them to be, is there a move out there that could do this, do that? Didn't everybody walk into the year saying to themselves, this team's going to potentially be a top 5 team in the NBA? And that's not crazy. There was a lot of people saying, you're coming off the Western Conference Championship or get into the Western Conference Finals, and then you find yourself in a spot where LeBron, Anthony Davis, you thought D'Angelo, Austin Reeves, Rui, you thought you had a lot of continuity that was going to be with this team. I think the thing that's being just flipped right over, we're just turning that page and we're going to start looking at the offseason, what's going to happen to the Lakers, everything else, because that's what this tweet really means. It never worked. Like this season, it never clicked. The fact that they weren't even in a position to see, is there a player out there that could help us with contention? They're 2 games over 500. Why didn't it work? Why are they sitting in a position where they have to kick the can down the road to another summer and Braun's going to be 40? A lot of people were talking about we want the continuity, we want this, we want that. This season has been so drastically different than I think we thought coming in.
Yeah.
No, they are going to compete. They are going to contend.
Super uncommon. I mean, it's this
got
may
to
be...
a Western Conference. They went 18-8 in the final 24, 26 games.
Yeah, I get that.
There's no continuity of lineups for Lakers. I feel like this whole season has just been them throwing stuff at the wall when it seems like they're just try to have things play out. I don't know.
But I guess my only point is this. The season, we're basically kind of just saying, and I don't disagree that they don't make a move just to make a move. But the portion that I disagree with is, damn, we thought they were going to have a chance to walk into the season, have an opportunity, and have a shot. And here we are at the trade deadline basically saying, ain't nothing going to save this Lakers team, and we just move on.
Well, I think that the shot they had at the beginning is the same shot they have now, which is, we'll see how the 2 best guys play and hope that the secondary guys step up, right? That's what the plan was going in, and the floor just dropped out, right? But a team having, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then you get to this isn't the midway point, but you get to the trade deadline, it's like, okay, we were wrong about that, let's fix it on the fly. That happens all the time. That's just, you go in, baseball's got the adage, first 2 months are to see what you got, the next 2 months are to try and fix it, and the last 2 months are we're going to go for it, right? Mm-hmm. That basketball doesn't line up quite like that, but this is what we thought, okay, it's not exactly right. Can you fix it? I think they looked at it and said, not in any meaningful way, so let's just hope that what we thought originally gets better. That's one topic. The topic to me that I find interesting is this is really the first time that they've kind of sat on their hands, that they really haven't, when LeBron has hourglassed them before, literally or metaphorically, they've always kind of snapped to. Like, okay, you want these guys out? They're out. You want that guy in? He's in. You want to shuffle the roster? Great. You want to keep the roster? Great. That they've always kind of been pretty attentive to his desires. And if his desires this year were, hey, we got to do something, which is what I believe that hourglass meant.
Everybody interpreted that.
They're not doing anything. That's meaningful. That it's the first time they've said, you know what, appreciate the input, but I don't think so. That's not nothing. That saying no to somebody for the first time or deciding to go in a different direction than the most important person in the building, and he is not nothing.
You think Braun is being sold on listen, this is what was on the table. We can make a move like this now, which, by the way, we don't even know if the Atlanta Hawks truly had interest in doing a deal with the Lakers. But I wonder how much, because I think Braun's input is still very, very, very powerful in this organization.
Sure it is. But it also didn't move the needle this time.
But maybe he's also being sold on, look, we can do this. We don't think it's going to change much. You see the team that's out there. What if we waited till the summer and we went out and tried to go get one of these other bona fide superstars?
Well, I guess it depends on who the other superstar is. I guess it depends on whether he wants to stay. And now there's a brick in the wall we're worried about what's next at least as much as what's now. Before it was always the what's now. And this is we're at least got a push here where, we're not going to sell it off, but we're also not going to add anything to it. We're gonna let this ride for another couple of months, see what happens in the playoffs. Maybe they get hot again. Who knows? Unlikely, but who knows?
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out what's happening after that. And by the way, he may or may not be a part of it. He probably will, but it's not a slam dunk guarantee.
But we talked about yesterday how it seems like the sources, at least who Sam Amick has talked to, says the Lakers really would love for LeBron to finish out his career as a Laker. So wouldn't that be kind of pushing someone in a certain direction?
Could I tell you, I think if we're playing poker, I think part of me is like, okay, Bron, if you're really going to go leave the Lakers, you're not going to take that player option for your $50+ million. Part of me wants to see, okay, LeBron, then go do it. I don't think he's going to do it. As in, I think LeBron will still be a Laker by the time next year starts. Maybe there's a little risk, because you're not catering to him, but he's not 32. He's not 35. There does come a point where you're saying to yourself, okay, well, let's pause here for a second. What makes most sense? Here's my only risk, or here's my only, not fear, but there's the only thing that I would caution in the offseason. You need so many things to go your way to potentially land one of those other superstars. So we'll see what happens.
We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. I don't know if I've ever been happier to say something like this. Dr. Clapper joins us next.
Come on, Dr. Clapper.
Yes, Dr. Clapper joins us next right here on the Travis Slee Show, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle due for service? Is it ready for general maintenance? Check that sticker in your window right now, because is it time to get those wipers replaced, right? How often we've been driving around smearing that water around. If any of those things are true, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people like you and me. You don't have to get out of the car. You don't have to go sit in that weird waiting room. At Valvoline, you stay in your car, you're safe, you're relaxed, while the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its best. You are in, you are out. It is a pit stop for your ride. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time at all. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise. Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2-8 28-24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. Thursday morning, 11:18 a.m. on the Travis and Sliwa Show on 2824. And yeah, we're going to do this live, a little live setup. Because I have waited for this moment for the last year. When I shut my eyes and thought about our coverage on 2824, I thought, how could the day be complete without one of the biggest and greatest Kobe fans that we've ever been able to do radio with and know? The great Dr. Robert Clapper. Doc has to be part of this day, and Doc has to be back on this radio station. And Dr. Robert Clapper, it is an honor and a pleasure to welcome you back to 710 ESPN.
Chris Morales, you can't see my face. I got a face for radio, but my smile is going from ear to ear, and I can't thank you enough, and it's great to be back with the ESPN 710 family. Thank you.
And with that, I will hand it back off to Travis Slee. And Doc, thanks for coming on back.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and thank you for asking me, Chris. God bless you.
It is great to hear your voice, Doc. It has been too long. It's great. I can't wait to get
like
into
I'm driving around on a Saturday morning
absolutely
right now.
Some Clapper visions in our future for sure. But obviously, like Chris mentioned, it is 2824, and we all know that you are one of the biggest Kobe Bryant fans that there is. I'll start with an obvious question. Is there a moment? Is there a thing? Is there an emotion that comes to your mind first when you think of what we're going to do today?
It is. The very first time I met Kobe Bryant, he came to Cedars-Sinai's fundraiser for children with genetic abnormalities. It was a big fundraiser, a sports spectacular at Cedars-Sinai. and he came with Shaq, and they were sitting at a table together, and I went over and shook his hand and met him for the first time and met Shaquille O'Neal for the first time. And that's when I knew, when I heard that ESPN was now going to cover the Laker games, that's when I got busy knowing that I needed to be on the radio. So I would even say this. He really is the reason Clappervision came into existence, because when he started getting injuries, Brian Long, Dave Denholm, and the powers that be in the early days, they called me and said, you got to tell us what's really going on with Kobe Bryant and his injuries. So I give him credit for really initiating the creation of Clappervision.
Clappervision.
The great Dr. Clapper here joining us on the Travis and Sliwa show. Dr. Clapper, okay, we spent a lot of time on this just because there's so much curiosity and we still have no idea what that statue is going to look like. When you think of some of the more iconic moments of Kobe, is there one that stands out to you? Are you hoping that at 3:30, when that ceremony starts and the unveiling starts, is there one that you're hoping you would like to see? What comes to mind as far as the statue goes?
So on the Weekend Warriors show, I interviewed many times the great Andrew Bernstein, the official NBA photographer for 35, 40 years, and the photographer for the Lakers. And Andrew wrote a book about Mamba mentality with Kobe. And he told me it was the most incredible experience because he's done many books before where you sit down with all the pictures and then you create chapters in a book. He said, but when he met with Kobe, it was the opposite. Kobe said to him, I'm going to tell you what I want, and Andrew, you got to go find the picture that you must have taken to show it. It was backwards. And what was one of the pictures? You got to get the book to just see it. Dikembe Mutombo. He said, you remember he used to wave the finger? No, you're not going to do this. And he said it's because he could always block everyone's shot, because he would block the shot with the right hand, but what you need to see is he's grabbing your jersey with the left hand, pulling you down. And Bernstein said, okay, I got to go find it. And sure enough, it's in the book. And that's how he put that book together. So my wife says I never answer the question. So to answer your question, my favorite photo is really when he punched his heart with his jersey, because that's what he was. I interviewed Gary Vitti, the great trainer for the Lakers during Showtime and for Shaq and Kobe. And I asked him, what was it about Kobe? And he said, Dr. Clapper, what I learned after all these years being the trainer for the Lakers is that talent is overrated. I took care of so many guys who could jump out of the gym. No big deal. They all have the talent, but they don't become champions. He said what set Kobe apart was his focus. And that's what that photo needs to show, because nobody had it in his heart, the focus, like Kobe Bryant.
Dr. Robert Clapper joining us here on Trav and Slee. You guys all know Dr. Clapper. So I think everybody knows about you. Not only are you an orthopedic surgeon, a radio host, the inventor of Clappervision and all of these other things, you like to surf. You are the most, you have the most well-rounded interests of anybody I've ever known.
Probably saved a cat up in a tree yesterday.
Slee just mentioned it. You sculpt as well. Take me through when you're deciding to do a statue. Where do you start? Like when you're building something like this, is it to capture the person's essence? Is it to make it look as much like the actual person as you can? As someone who does this, what's the most challenging? Where do you start?
So Michelangelo, who's my hero, when asked to sculpt the sculptures to commemorate his mentor was Lorenzo de Medici, what did he do? What did Michelangelo do, the greatest artist of all time, to answer that question? And what you'll find, if I ask you, Travis, about your days at Santa Barbara or in high school, all these years later, you can barely remember a single day. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Towards the end of our lives, your entire life is actually like a single day. So what did Michelangelo do in a sculpture to commemorate Lorenzo de Medici's life? He sculpted a figure in the morning, in the afternoon, dusk, and then at night. he sculpted the 4 times of day. And that, in essence, is what you want to capture in this sculpture. The physicality of him shooting a basketball, dunking a basketball, is not what you want to convey in art, in a sculpture. You want to convey that heart, that Mamba mentality. And that's what they're going to be going after. And I think punching his heart, trying to rip his T-shirt off, you know the picture I'm talking about. It's in the LA Times. That, to me, that is Kobe Bryant, because when he did that, all of us, like a tuning fork, he resonates the tuning. All of us were the same frequency tuning fork in our seats when he did that. And that's what I think you're going after when you sculpt Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Dr. Clapper's facial expression as well, right? That says it all in that iconic moment. Okay, final one for me. And we know not just a big, obviously a Kobe Bryant fan, a big Laker fan as well. Just your thoughts here, Dr. Clapper. We're a couple games away from the All-Star break. What do you think of? We don't think a deal is going to go down for the Lakers. Just what do you think of the Lakers moving forward the rest of the season?
All I can say, and I don't want to be negative, Alan Sliwa, and I know how much you bleed purple and gold, but let me tell you, if you bleed purple and gold, what injury would keep you on the bench and not dress up to play the Boston Celtics? Tell me, Kobe Bryant, you'd have to amputate his leg. He shot 2 free throws on a completely torn Achilles tendon. Mario Chalmers tore his Achilles. He did a faceplant on the court. 2 teammates had to lift him off the court. Kobe Bryant went to the free throw and not only attempted, but made 2 free throws on a completely torn Achilles. That's what bothers me the most. And Chick Hearn used to say they were dogging it. He wasn't afraid, and he probably got everybody else upset. That's all I'm thinking about right now is we need guys who bleed purple and gold and aren't just looking at statistics.
So I'm gonna take a leap of faith here, Doc. I'm going to guess you felt very similar to the way that I did when I heard the quote, well, we can beat anybody when we put our minds to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when are you exactly going to put your mind to it? And let me tell you,
exactly.
We got to give LeBron James tremendous credit because he still beats the Clippers, which we love. Listen, they always say you can't shift a gear. He of all people you've ever seen play, he's one of the greatest we've ever seen. He needs to give his props. Keep beating the Clippers. That's our championship. I guess that's what it's going to be this season, so whenever we play them. But other than that, Alan, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but we need players. Austin Reeves bleeds purple and gold, right? You can tell. Caruso, when he was with him, he bled purple and gold. That's what we need going forward.
Dr. Robert Clapper, it was wonderful to hear your voice again, to talk to you again, and I am looking forward to when we get to do it again soon. Thank you.
Me too, Travis. Me too.
You got it. All right, Factor Cap is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava, and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game. We'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend.
That's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, having Dr. Clapper on is always great. He's always shooting it straight. Love Dr. Clapper on Airways. It does remind me, yes, of driving around on Saturday mornings. So you're like, it's a little off-putting being at 11:30 on a Thursday.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good dude.
I love Clapper.
You can hear a smile,
Clipper
right?
thing was really good.
It's great. So Netflix has announced they're going to do a Hard Knocks style series on the Boston Red Sox this season. They are also releasing a documentary on the 2004 Red Sox that broke the curse that won the World Series there. So kind of, one is leading to the other. So they're getting people primed for this team. It's also the 20-year anniversary of that team. So,
oh my God,
very
you're
cool.
right.
Yeah, insane. Sorry to remind everybody.
Wow.
But my statement is the Red Sox.
3-4 years after I graduated high school.
Exactly 4 years.
4 years.
How do you know that, Emily?
Oh, yes, because you graduated in 2000.
2000, guys. 2000.
I graduated in 04.
So my statement is Red Sox were the right choice for this season. Travis, Factor Cap?
I think they are one of the right choices, fact, because the best choice is an unavailable choice. The best choice are the Dodgers. But Shohei doesn't do stuff like that. And you can't cover the Dodgers story if you don't have access to the biggest part of the story. It would be like trying to tell the story of the Lakers with having no access to LeBron James. You can't do it. You have to have access to the best guy. And what makes the Red Sox particularly interesting is that they brought Theo Epstein back. That Theo Epstein is, if he's not the smartest baseball executive walking on the planet, he's not beyond the top 2 or 3. He's got a pedigree of having won there, of building a championship team there. That he's back is interesting. Their manager in Alex Cora is a very colorful guy, a very interesting guy. I think it's a very good choice. And they got money, and they got history and all that other stuff.
Al?
Cap, you don't believe anything you just said. You don't believe it. The
I
Dodgers, by far, are the team
Can't do without Shohei.
that has to be the one that's on this series. It has to be.
With
By the
no
way,
Shohei?
I don't care if Shohei, you just see him in the parking lot and he parks and that's it. You got Yamamoto. You got Mookie Betts. You got Freddie Freeman. You got the front office of the Dodgers. You got Kershaw that you could still use.
It's doing the Beatles without John Lennon. You can't do it.
Listen, compared to the Red Sox, I don't care if you have all access and you only get to see Shohei Ohtani a little bit. That's all anybody's talking about is the Dodgers. That's
right.
it.
That's
nobody
why.
Else,
that's why you
nobody
can't
wants
do
to know
it.
anything else other than the Dodgers. This has to be the Dodgers. I wish it was the Dodgers.
It can't be the Dodgers. If Ohtani's there, of course. But the whole time you're like, are you going to get Ohtani? No.
Yeah, but that's no different than Ohtani anywhere.
Right. That's why the Angels would have been a bad choice
You
without Ohtani.
want to see the Red Sox over the Dodgers?
No, but I want to see I don't want to see the Dodgers without Ohtani. I don't. It's you're telling half the story.
I have interest in all those players. Even if I see just a little bit of Shohei, I still think that's a better storyline than the Red Sox.
So, Travis, one thing that's in the case of the Dodgers is that Drive to Survive still worked when Verstappen was not sitting down for interviews.
Okay, but fair. You're not wrong. But here's the difference. I didn't know any of those guys. I'm going in completely blind. I don't have a point of reference for this. I'm coming in completely unaware. It's doing the Chiefs without any access to Patrick Mahomes. You can't do it. You could do it without, if you had Ohtani, you could do it without Mookie. If you had Ohtani, you could do it without Freddie. But you can't not have the best guy.
They have so many storylines. They have so much attention on them.
That's not what you're not hearing me.
And Shohei Ohtani, again, I'm hearing you, but you're making a case for the Sox because of Theo Epstein over the Dodgers.
Not the Dodgers, Al. Listen carefully. Yeah. The Dodgers without Ohtani are not the Dodgers. They're the other thing, and it's not that there aren't other stories, but the best story is sitting there, and it can't be told. Yeah. It's a tease that doesn't have an ending.
Still think the Dodgers.
I know you do, but you're wrong.
Jorge?
I'm in the middle. So I agree with everything Travis is saying, but at the same time, let's not forget that the Dodgers have their own thing where they're going to cover Ohtani. They have the backstage Dodgers, and they're going to focus on it. It's not as...
They're going to paint a very specific picture.
But it's not going to be as detailed as the documentary is with the Red Sox. So
could you do is it Miami FC? What's that? Is that what they're called?
Inter Miami.
Inter Miami. Could you do it with no access to Messi?
No way.
Of course
I'm not watching that.
Of course
Nobody's
not.
watching that.
Yeah. All right, so Ryan Gosling recently said in an interview that he also So in this interview, he has pictures of himself on top of the Warner Brothers water tower. So you guys all know the iconic water tower in Warner Brothers lot. Okay, so
see it from the freeway, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You can see it from a lot.
134.
Like Sony has a similar thing too. So Ryan Gosling said this: when I was 16 and moved to Los Angeles and was auditioning at Warner Brothers, they wouldn't let me climb the water tower. 10 years ago, when I shot La La Land here, they wouldn't have let me climb the water tower then. For whatever reason, right now, at this stage in my life and career, they're letting me climb the water tower. So climb it while you can, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to climb it tomorrow. So it's funny. Just he's a great guy, funny guy. But it's essentially his door is open, so he's going through it in this moment. So got me thinking. We drive around the city all the time.
Yep.
There are landmarks that you don't necessarily think that you're going to go into. There are landmarks that you might be like, that's, the Gaylord Hotel in downtown or in Hollywood or whatever. Like, I don't know if I really want to go there, but it interests me. So here's the statement. There's an LA landmark that you have always wanted to go to that you haven't been to yet. Al, fact or cap?
I'll go fact. I think, and I don't know, I think there's a trail to it. You guys can tell me. How close can you get to the Hollywood sign?
Right up next to it.
Yeah, you can get really close.
Horseback riding too.
So let me use that as an example.
It's actually a really good hike.
So this is what I was just saying. First off, I like hiking. Second, if I could get that close and I've never done it before, like that should be something I should literally do this weekend. I don't have Laker games this weekend. But that would be a cool thing to go up to. It's one of the most iconic of all landmarks, right? I think that would be the one that I'll go to.
The hike from the Griffith Park Observatory to the Hollywood sign, you would love it. It's really good. It's actually a really good hike, and then you get two iconic LA landmarks in one hike.
Trev?
Yeah, and it's kind of embarrassing to say out loud that I've never been there because it's something that I'm not going to pretend to be like a huge art person, but I've never been to the Getty. Like, it's been here a long, long time, and I've never gone up there and check. And everybody I know that has gone to the Getty comes back and says it's that. They say that. And I've just never taken the time to go do it. We've kind of nibbled around the edges. Feel like, is today the day we go, let's stay home and eat sandwiches. Like, we've never really kind of got over the threshold.
Those are the two options.
It's far away.
It's like you don't get access to that, and people don't get access to that you want to see. So like the Warner Brothers water tower. Is there like something like that? You're like, that's kind of, I want to try that. No?
Nothing that, like, if you let me take batting practice at Dodger Stadium, sure, that would be amazing. Okay. But yeah.
Jorge?
Yeah, I've never been to the Hollywood Bowl. It's been there, and I've been here forever.
Well,
and
maybe
I've
go
never,
see some Netflix.
I've never been there.
It's so weird that Jorge of all, I would feel like he's got like 10 stories of the Hollywood Bowl.
No. I would like to sit on the O of the Hollywood sign and then have like a drone shot just open up, and I'm just
that'd be pretty sweet.
But the spot that I would love to get into is located in Disneyland, Club 33. It's very exclusive to get in there. I would want to go in.
Have you been, Trev?
I have.
Yeah? Nothing to see there?
I don't even know if I know what it is.
Oh, no.
It's just the prestige of it all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
All right. So staying in the movie realm. So Francesca Scorsese is Martin Scorsese's daughter, and she's been blowing up on TikTok because she gets Martin to do TikToks with her. It's pretty funny. So Francesca Scorsese says that her father, Martin, sometimes watches back his films as though he's never seen them before. So he says things like, something will happen, and he'll be like, ha, that's great. And she's like, you literally made this. So you did do this when you listened back to our show. Jorge, Fetcher Cap.
Yeah, all the time, because I'm cutting highlights for promos and stuff like that here and there. And there's moments that I miss during the show, and then when I'm cutting it, or when I'm at home and I'm listening to stuff, like for instance, one of the moments that sticks out to Brenda, and till this day, she reminds me of it. Hey, is Sliwa getting cheese on his pretzel? It's one of those moments where she knows you don't get cheese with your pretzel. So every time we
in
get
Al's defense, he gets cheese.
I'll take it. I'll take the heat. I'll get it off her. I'll take the bullet.
But that's one of those things where I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Trev?
Yeah, because when we all have specific jobs, right? We're all doing the same thing, but we're all doing different things simultaneously. So when Al is talking, or you are talking, or Jorge's talking, I'm getting my next thing in order. I'm trying to listen as best as I can as it's happening.
But you're driving.
But there's other things that I have to make sure that I attend to in these moments. And I will miss something. And then when you hear it back, like whether it's a promo or quite frankly, some of the Mandy stuff, I'm like, I was sitting in the room and I didn't hear that. Right? So yeah, it happens all the time. Now, if I made a film where I got to make every edit and every shot and every piece of music, I think I'd be a little less surprised by it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fact for me, but only because of the promos. So I could be doing the Laker pregame show or something like that, and they're running promos for our show. And they might take something that we just did, Trav, a joke that we just cracked. Whatever. They were running a promo on me getting the Indian food, and I kept selling, like, what's more American than Indian food and the NFC Championship game.
Right.
When I heard it, it's okay, when you do it live, you don't really pay attention to it. When I went back, when I heard it, I'm like, hey, that was a pretty funny segment, or this happened. I don't go out of my way to do it, but when I do hear it, it does make me chuckle.
And by the way, if the Hollywood Bowl is one of the places that you haven't been in LA, we have opportunities all day today to get tickets to see a bunch of performers for the Netflix is a Joke Festival, all at the Hollywood Bowl. Fantastic venue, good seats. So definitely listen all day.
All right, so Lakers have not done anything yet. We're 15 minutes from the trade deadline. It doesn't sound like they're going to do anything. A couple of different reports from some pretty plugged-in guys are saying they're very likely to just stand pat and wait for the summer. So what is the summer plan? What are the obstacles in that summer? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V. And I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week. For Super Week, I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio. Out 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
It is a big day, a big basketball day. It's the NBA trade deadline, which has 11 more minutes left in it. And the Lakers play the Nuggets tonight. And, of course, it is the unveiling of the Kobe Bryant statue outside of Crypto.com Arena. And you can join the entire station today. East Central Hotel today starting at 1 o'clock for 2/8/24. It is a celebration of a legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap are broadcasting live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge from 1 until 5:30. Joining us in a day that we will all remember forever. There are ticket giveaways, exclusive merchandise, food, drinks, and a pair of tickets for tonight's game against the Nuggets. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for celebrating with us. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. See you today at 1 o'clock at the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel, right across the street from Crypto.com. And I know we kind of opened the show with it, that here we are. It's at 3:30 or 3?
3:30 they'll start televising.
3:30 they'll start. So
yep.
Here we are. We're basically 3.5 hours away, and nobody knows what it is. And by nobody, I mean that it hasn't leaked to where we all know what it is. There's obviously a very small circle of people that do. What a good job keeping that under wraps.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do.
I'm bad at keeping secrets. Like, no one tell me anything you don't want everyone to know.
I'm surprised if they came to Emily, it would be everything's out.
That would be my first Factor Cap. I'd be like, oh no.
Well, the one that in this building, at least, right, talking to amongst ourselves and talking to people who go to get a cup of coffee and everything, the one that seems to be generating momentum is the one where he's pulling his jersey aside. And I mentioned it yesterday.
We haven't seen anything, so it's not like we have inside
We're
knowledge.
guessing. We're guessing with everybody else.
This is just people's description of how they feel like is the best way to showcase Kobe in a statue.
Yeah.
Like hearing Dr. Clapper talking about the details of why that would be, it embodies Kobe.
The essence.
Yeah.
It's about the Shaq tearing the basket off the wall was the essence of Shaquille O'Neal. Magic running the break, the teamwork, the vision, the enthusiasm. It all kind of speaks to his essence, right? The person that they are. To capture that in a still, a sculpture, a painting, it's not easy to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenge that they'll have. And they've kind of knocked it out of the park across the street. All of those are pretty darn good.
Yeah, and they're special. And this is, look, you know what this is going to become? If you think about downtown L.A. and you think about L.A. Live, Trav, it's going to become like one of the, hey, I'm going to L.A. Live to go see Kobe's statue. That I think a lot of us get drawn here for a reason. I'm going to L.A. Live because there's a concert. I'm going to L.A. Live because there's a Laker game. Going to L.A. Live because I got tickets to the Clippers, Kings, whatever it is. This thing, when there's a Kings game going on, hey, let's go take a photo in front of the Kobe statue. When there's a Clippers game going on, let's go check out the Kobe statue. Like, I think, and however long that goes for, this one, I think will stand much different than the rest of them. Let's put it that way.
For sure, because of everything that goes into the story of Kobe Bryant, the legacy of Kobe Bryant, and unfortunately the death of Kobe Bryant was so incredibly shocking and tragic, and we didn't get to see him age. We didn't get to see him become an elder statesman of the NBA. That it ended so abruptly, and every time we talk about him, that's a part of the story that brings up all of those other emotions. And that's what makes a day like today exciting, is that we're going to talk about the great stuff. We're going to talk about the essence of it. You're going to talk about the beating the Celtics in the finals, him scoring 81 points, him having, 60 and 3/4 and beating the Mavericks by himself.
61-60.
61
Kobe
to 60,
wins.
right? And all of those things. It's nice to get a chance to talk about all of those great moments. And today's one of those days. And then they got to go play the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say, which is kind of crazy, because the way today was lined up, think about the last month around the Lakers. It didn't even feel like there was a question of, are the Lakers going to make a trade? You just assumed, well, what's the trade going to be? We're 7 minutes away. There's some reports out there on ESPN that the Hawks are keeping DeJounte Murray. None of this has been a surprise now. It seemed like for the last maybe 48 hours, we thought a small move might happen, but not a blockbuster deal. Okay, let's just get past noon for a quick second here. And then there's this, for a lot of these plays, isn't it a relief, no matter what, that once you're past the trade deadline, for the front office, the coaches, and the players, this is what we got the rest of the way. There's no help coming. There's that we could turn the page on. The Kobe unveiling is going to be an emotional day. So how much of those players or coaching staff or front office, any of that stuff, they're going to eventually, by the time 4:30 rolls around, say, guys, we got to go start shooting around and we got warm-ups. It's not like there's no game today, and today is just about 2/8/24. And then eventually, after that, you're going to have Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, who swept you in the playoffs yesterday, looking to come in here and do some damage.
There's a lot of the plate right now. And the Lakers, obviously, well, they got 6.5 or 5.5 minutes to do something if they want, but doesn't look like they're going to, like you said. Now what? Right? Now it's the now what? Okay. You sitting tight? Okay. Like you said a minute ago. If this was the plan back in the summer when you put this team together and you thought that, hey, look, we got close last year. If we run this back, maybe guys get a little better. That's what they're going to do. You know, Gabe Vincent is, I guess, the one piece that hasn't really been able to kind of join the team. He hasn't played hardly at all. He's been hurt almost the entire season. But you got to find whatever it is you found at the end of last year. You got to re-find it between now and the middle of April. And they've played 52 games, I think it is.
Yeah, 2 games over 500.
Okay, you got to figure it out. How do you do that? And if not, then what? That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Join us on.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava. We're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something. That on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24, for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend.
So not official yet. We got 30 seconds or so before the trade deadline is come and gone. But we were talking a little during the break. This is about as uneventful of a trade deadline as I can.
Joe Harris was waived.
Yeah, right. Big deal. Part of it is the Lakers didn't do anything. The Lakers are kind of the heartbeat of the league, right? That for better or for worse, they get more attention than everybody every day, all the time.
What did you say was David Stern's?
Some people think I make this up. David Stern said this when he was asked, "What's your dream finals matchup?" The Lakers against the Lakers was his answer.
I mean,
so that tells you all you need to know.
David, can you
right?
lie? Can you just pick a team in the East?
Pat Bev moved.
Yeah, he moved.
So there's the
right. Like
person.
I said, nobody that makes a difference has moved. Right. And like you said, Siakam, OJ Anunoby moved a little bit. Like
those
those
were a couple
guys.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was a couple of weeks ago, and those are by far the most impactful names that just kind of going down it right here. I'm going off the list on ESPN.com. Robin Lopez. And cash to the Sacramento Kings.
Gordon
Lopez
Hayward
expected.
a little bit earlier today got moved to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Doug McDermott, Gordon Hayward.
Can I give you one name?
Pat Bev, Cameron Payne. This is what we're talking about. Joe Harris.
I'm going to give you one name that's interesting. The one name that's interesting that maybe could potentially find his way to the Lakers in the buyout market. The Raptors traded Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Nets in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie. The Toronto Raptors would have to pay like $1.5 million bonus to Dinwiddie if he hits a certain amount of games, so there's talk that he's going to eventually hit the buyout market. Dinwiddie will be a nice catch for somebody, whoever gets him. It could be, if it's the Lakers, they can definitely use a player like that. If he had landed with the Denver Nuggets, wherever he goes is a nice piece to get in the buyout market. But to go back to what you said, there have been some blockbuster moves that have happened at the trade deadline, kind of crickets today. But don't you feel the last 48 hours, I almost feel like we're set up for this, that, hey,
for the Lakers specifically.
Yeah, we don't feel like anything's going to really go down.
There's no big name. Like even last year, and I don't know if it was it might have been a day or two before, but Kyrie Irving moved. Kyrie Irving is a huge name in the NBA. You know, we could argue whether he's a good guy to have on your team or not, but there's no disputing he's one of the biggest names in the league.
Wait, KD, did that all go down at the same time?
KD got traded last year. Kevin Durant got traded to the Suns. Huge names went to different places. Dennis Schroeder? I mean, I get it. Schroeder's a nice NBA player. He's a part of what but I mean, Kevin Durant relative to Patrick Beverley?
No.
I mean, come on, man. And the Lakers, I think, doing nothing is actually saying quite a bit. Because by doing nothing, you're saying we're going to wait until the offseason, which, do they have another pick? Sure. Are there more players that might shake loose, 4 or 5 months from now? Sure. LeBron James also has a player option. And for the first time, arguably, in his Laker tenure, they said, you know what? We're just going to roll this out. I know that you'd probably like us to do a couple of things, but we're good, man. We're going to play this out. We'll see what we can do this summer. We'll get back to you on that. It's a very different position that they've in where at least the future is equal to the present for the first time in a while, where before it's like, what's best for today, this season, right now, not necessarily what's best for the season or the season after that.
Is it a little weird, too, that it seems like nobody is... Like, I love the way you just laid that out, because I don't feel like Laker fans are sitting here at 12:03 saying, this is such BS that the Lakers didn't do anything.
No.
Now, they could say, what the hell happened this year? I thought
that's a different topic.
It's a different topic. I thought the Lakers were going to be a lot better. Okay, put that to the side. The not accommodating, if Bron wanted to see something happen and it didn't happen, because it clearly didn't, okay, I'll take my chances. And I'm not saying that. I want to properly describe this. If LeBron is really upset at the Lakers for not making a move at the trade deadline, and he has a player option at the end of this year, and he decides to exercise that player option because the Lakers didn't make a move. Let's just say, he got that upset. It's like...
Unlikely, but not impossible.
But I guess my point at the end of the day is, well, what did you want them to do?
That's it. And I think that's why LeBron's, I'm trying to find the right word, dissatisfaction. Let's use that, right? Or Laker fans' dissatisfaction with the lack of movement it's obvious. What was out there that someone else got that you thought you should have got that would have made you a lot better? When Kevin Durant moves, it's like, could we have gotten Kevin Durant? When Kyrie Irving moves, it's like, well, what did they have to give up to get him? Would he have fit in? Like, you're seeing these names, you think, well, why aren't we involved in this? And even last year, the Lakers with D'Angelo and the big move that they made, Russell Westbrook going out, these are NBA names that people are familiar with. Nothing really happened today.
And then also that it's not just the Lakers. It made the rest of the league seems to be like satisfied with where they are. And do you think the Lakers should be satisfied with this team as it is?
No, I don't think they're satisfied, but I think sometimes I could not be happy with the result, but also not have control of the result. Does that make sense? I don't think Rob Pelinka is sitting there right now and they're in El Segundo at the Laker headquarters and say, we're good to go. I don't think he's saying that, but I think he's also saying, what did you want me to do? I think there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, was there something out there? And the laying it out, let's use Russell Westbrook as an example. When the Westbrook trade went down and you got 3 or 4 months of basketball with it, you're like, oh, this is going to hurt the team for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That we made a deal. Wait, let's go get the third superstar. Let's go do this. Who cares what it is? There was another deal you could have made in Sacramento. You started looking at, well, why did they make that deal? Sometimes not making a deal doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just what's available to you.
The options were make a deal and you're still the same, make a deal and get worse and for longer, or make a deal and all of a sudden you're right back in the mix. That's the one that felt like was completely unavailable. So if it's just kind of stay where we are and do nothing, kind of stay where we are and do something, or potentially get saddled with something that might actually hurt us, I think they did the right thing. But the question now is, what's next?
Yeah.
The question now is...
Makes the summer.
It makes the summer. The Donovan Mitchell's name has already popped up a bunch of times.
You still have that first-round pick. You still have a little
now
bit
you
of
have 2.
flexibility of your future.
Actually, now you have 3.
Is it 3 out?
So on the day of draft night, they will have 3 first-round picks available.
To trade?
To trade.
Okay.
So they'll have their 2029, 2031, and then whichever one the Pelicans don't want, 2024, 2025. So they're going to have 3 total that they can work with.
Is the future bright to you guys? Do you look at the Laker future and you see something you are excited about?
Can there be an option of bright or cloudy and stormy and you're never coming out of it? I think it's unknown because the LeBron of it all is still a little unknown. We're more clear than we were 2 years ago because you're just 2 years closer to the point where guys don't play basketball anymore. We're already past that point. But until you know, okay, what's next? He's retired. He's on a different team. Until you have a crystal clear answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't think we're having that for a while.
I don't think so either. So I don't know what the answer is, Em. If the answer is, are they dead? No, you're never dead with LeBron James. You're never out of it. Are they in a good spot? Not really, because we've seen this the last couple of years. It's okay, but it's not where, hey, it's running through the Lakers. It's not that either.
And I don't
it's
think
somewhere in the middle.
And I don't think there's going to be this. You still have Anthony Davis on this team. So even if you got to the point where LeBron decided, okay, guys, I'm done playing ball. I'm finished. I don't think there is this. The Lakers were rebuilding when they were getting that number 2 draft pick every single year. You were rooting for them to lose so they can have some number 2 picks or potentially a top 3 in the draft. I don't think that's happening on the horizon as well.
No.
Because you have Anthony Davis, because you're going to go out there. I mean, this is kind of the funny thing is we
But beyond him and Reeves, it's like, I don't know, man.
Well, no,
are they in like the most? Are they in the worst place in sports where you're not good enough, but you're not bad enough?
Here's the question that I'll ask. Here's the question that I'll ask. I think remember how we kept saying, "Oh, stop going for a third star," and that was the example of Russell Westbrook. It was you're chasing something. Build a team. This offseason, their mentality was we're going to build a team. It didn't take very long for all these reports to say they got 3 first-rounders, there's another star out there, go get the third star. There is a little bit of kind of all over the place,
This is the underlying issue, I think, that's been true for quite some time. what is your global plan, right? What is the plan that is both short term, medium term, and long term? What is the plan that is going? I want to get. This is a goofy analogy, but I'm going with it. I need to get home. I live down in Orange County, and I know I'm going to get on the freeway at the 110, and I'm going to take the 405, and I'm going to merge with the 1, and I'm going to get off on this particular exit. That's my plan. Now, that doesn't mean there can't be an accident and I have to get off the freeway and get back on, right? But I have a vision of how I'm going to get there. What it feels like the Lakers have done for the last few years is we want to win a championship. Okay, with LeBron James. Okay, how are we going to do it? They've thrown 10 different plans at the wall. Mm-hmm. They've done it with get a third star. They've done it with build a team around him. They've done it with younger guys. They've done it with more veteran guys. And they've never really ridden one of those plans out for an extended period of time. And again, it's been a 6-year run.
They probably won't come this summer.
I don't think they will either. Yeah. But look at the Warriors clearly had a vision. And that doesn't mean you don't do anything. The Bucks had a vision.
The
Thunder have a vision. And maybe they've arrived at their destination a little ahead of schedule. But that the Lakers keep changing the destination, they keep changing the map, they keep changing the type of gas they put in the car, they change the car. Like the whole thing is different daily practically.
Is that part of the downside of being able to – the Lakers are in such a unique spot where they don't have to rebuild. They don't have to build like the Thunder do, right? So it's different for them.
Stars will come.
Stars will come, and there's the LeBron is here. We have to do it right now. That's part of the, I guess you can say, the positive and the negative that comes with being the Lakers.
So let me read you what Dave McMenamin just tweeted, and it kind of talks about what we were just talking about here, but this is from him. He says, Lakers were active in seeking deals in the days leading up to the deadline and determined any feasible trade would be a marginal upgrade at too steep of a cost. Now, here's the two options they have. Now, be aggressive in the buyout market with more money to offer than others in a safe portion of MLE. Next, what they're thinking of in the future, hope that Vincent and Vanderbilt can return to be impact players next season. And then going forward, even after that, they have 3 first-round picks available to trade come draft night to make a run at an all-star caliber player this summer. So Dave McMenamin is just lining out the options of what can happen now, what's happening next, what's happening in the future.
All of those options become different options based on whether or not LeBron is here or not. Whether or not LeBron is still super effective or not. If LeBron goes, because look, LeBron is not the player he was 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. LeBron was, 3 years prior to that was a different guy. Sure. It's not a cliff, but it's a soft decline into him being a different guy.
Could it be an even more attractive location if LeBron is not here?
It's a great question. Potentially, yes. Maybe Anthony Davis is ready to put his hands on the wheel. Like there's all of these different questions, but until you know for sure, you can't say we're going that way. Well, I don't want to go that. Okay, well, you're here or you're not. Well, I don't know. I'll make up my mind. It's impossible to do it when the other person that's in the car is not telling you how they want to get there.
I was just going to say, is this just as simple as it's a LeBron thing that even when he was in Cleveland, even when he was in Miami, and even here with the Lakers, but it's different with the Lakers because it's not is LeBron going to leave, which is part of the question.
Sure.
It's also how effective can LeBron still be?
If he stays.
He didn't have that question when he was in Cleveland or Miami, some of these other places.
All right, a reminder again that you can join us at East Central, the East Central Hotel today, starting in just about an hour from right now, starting at 1 o'clock. Of course, today's date, 2/8/24, for a celebration of a legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland will be there. Sedano and Cap will be there. They'll both be broadcasting live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge from 1 until 5:30 this afternoon. Join us in celebrating a day that we will all remember forever. There will be ticket giveaways, exclusive merchandise, food, drinks, and a pair of tickets to tonight's game against the Nuggets. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for celebrating along with us. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and we will see you in less than an hour, 1 o'clock today. It, of course, is the statue being unveiled at Crypto.com. No other thing to draft than our favorite Kobe moments coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And you know, this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week for Super Week. I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877 710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava and we're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
segundos. Todos se van a poner de pie en el Staples Center.
Yo también, Adrián.
Yo igual. Vámonos a trabajar. Mamba negra, suelta. ¡Tras! ¡Kobe! ¡Lo hizo! Desde el rancho de 3 caballos, que está encendido. ¡Wow! Querían una leyenda, ¿no? Querían escribir un corrido, canciones, poesías, todo. Pues ahí tenemos material. Guión de película. Ni Hollywood se las arma así.
Can I take a guess? I think I got, you couldn't write an ending like this in Hollywood. Something like that.
You wanted a legend? There you go. You couldn't write a script like this one tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting warmer. Awesome.
With Francisco Pinto.
Yeah, he's great.
Color.
Awesome.
Oh, those guys were awesome when they used to call us in Spanish. Yes.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, we are doing our draft of Kobe moments because it's our Snipe draft day. We delayed a little bit because we want to talk about the trade deadline, see if anything crazy happened going up until 12. So we're doing it right now. So the order is Alan, Travis, Jorge, Emily, and we're going to do 12 total, 3 each because that's all that we can fit on the graphic, right, DeAndre? Right, yeah, and Graham's back there. All right, so Al, you're up first.
Oof. Think about the list I have in front of me that I can choose from. This one's going to be very, very, very personal.
Great.
Of a personal Kobe moment. You know, I never got a chance to see Magic in the Showtime era win an NBA championship. So I really became a Laker fan when they weren't winning. And it was Eddie Jones and Cedric Sabalas, Nick Van Exel, all that. Kobe to Shaq alley-oop in 2000, you knew the Lakers were about to win a championship. Kobe and Shaq had never won one together. Del Harris was there for X amount of years. Phil Jackson comes to be the coach. They're down double digits in the fourth quarter to the Portland Trailblazers, and they come all the way back. The fact that it was Kobe to Shaq, it's kind of one of the more iconic calls, too. That's my number one because they got their first one together. You knew it was going to happen. That's my number one right there.
All right, good choice. Trav, you're up.
That was number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was
That's
a good
your
one.
number one then.
81. 81.
Can't argue.
Can't argue. I remember being at home, and I think I had a BlackBerry at the time, and I was constantly staring at it and texting and all these things because it was kind of relatively new or whatever, and I never didn't have that thing in my hand. And I don't know what I was doing, but for whatever reason, I wasn't watching the Laker game as it had started. And then I got a text from a buddy, hey, are you watching this? And I'm like, and it was like,
those are the best texts for you.
And I'm like,
pay attention to this.
No. And he's like, you should probably turn it on. And so I turned it on, and it turned into 81. So, like I said, there's an explanation of it, but it literally needs no explanation. I'll take 81.
And that commercial is great with Jalen Rose. I guess it was was it an ESPN commercial? That was great.
I think so, yeah.
They would go to the restaurant and say, I'll have 81. Jorge?
Okay, so mine's also really, really personal because growing up, we couldn't afford to go to, Laker games. So when I started working here in 2016, I was only supposed to be here for 8 weeks doing USC and whatnot. So then Jared Diglio decided he's moving on, and he's like, hey, man, you're in the perfect spot. So then me and Amanda kind of took over the Lakers season that year. Then Amanda moved on to, assistant PD and whatever, and then the rest, is history. So I took over that season I took over that season 2016.
Sure.
So Kobe announces he's retiring. And then every time they would win, we would get a post-game interview. So John gives me the list. I'm like, hey, John, Ireland, what list, what players are we going to get? He said Kobe was one, and then D'Lo, and then we went down the list.
Yep.
I go down, give my list to John
Black. Yep.
And then he's like, all right, wait behind the bench. So here I am waiting because Kobe's the first one, and who knows if I get Kobe or not. So John comes up to me. He says, hey, you got Kobe. Follow me. So I'm walking in the court, towards Kobe. Kobe's got a towel over his head, whatever. And then he takes it off, and I meet him. I hand him the headset. And that's when I interacted with him, and that's when I met him for the first time ever. And then my mom's watching the game at home, so she takes a picture of the screen. And then Ty Nowell, who used to be the photographer for the Lakers at the time, snaps a picture of me and Kobe, right there on the court. D'Angelo Russell rookie year right behind us. And then it was just unsurreal. It's just one of those moments for me that, I'm never going to forget. And then if it wasn't for John asking for that interview,
it's great.
Who knows? I would have never gotten that close.
So it's the time that you met him.
When I met Kobe.
Yeah.
I was going to take that one. His moment.
And then that picture is in it's on my Twitter,
profile.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have two here because I had the comeback round. So I'm going to do one that's one of these similar vibe of you guys, just this insane numbers. You never think you're going to see this with a person. Kobe's 60 on his last game, his final game.
Great choice.
That's my first pick because I wasn't here when that happened for you guys. So hearing you guys talk about it is crazy because it's one of those things where, like, you know, you never thought you'd see that again. Kobe was not the same Kobe as he was a couple years before. So it's kind of that whole lead up to it that this guy had so much in him to do this in this final game. That's very cool.
And the day was a celebration. It wasn't you got to be stressed about the game. You were just worried about the only thing you were worried about is Kobe. Can he just have a decent game for your final one?
Yeah.
And Em, to go to your point, Ireland has seen more Kobe moments than anybody. That's his favorite moment.
Yeah.
It's Kobe's final game.
All right, so the next one I'm going to do is kind of one that's, like, obviously it lives on in meme lore. I think it tells, again, this testament to Kobe's, you know, toughness, that he never flinches. And I think I'm going to put, though, because obviously there's extenuating circumstances, there's the camera angle of this moment. But I'm going to put it because we believe that this is right in front of his face. So I'm going to do the Matt Barnes no flinch
Great
Kobe
choice.
moment. So
Great
that
choice.
to me exemplifies who he was as a competitor, is that he doesn't think about anybody else on the court besides who he is and how he's going to beat you. He doesn't care about if you're going to punch him in the face, if you're going to throw this ball in his face.
Don't matter.
That's mine. All right, Jorge, you got your next one.
Okay, so my next one is I remember this game vividly because I was watching with my mom and my dad at the time. It's when Kobe lobs it over to Shaq, the famous lob to Shaq, and then they go on to win that game. And dude, it's just.
Isn't that the one you took?
Which one? You talking about the Blazer game? Yeah, 2000. So that one, that one's gone.
That was the first one off the board.
Yeah, that one's gone.
Damn.
How dare you, bro?
Yeah.
It's a good moment. I guess you could both have it.
Let's see.
It's not how drafts work.
Yeah. Okay. So there's
I'll take LeBron too.
I recently saw this because I was cutting something else for Kobe. When he blocks Yao, there's a point in his career where he blocked Yao Ming, and everybody just goes crazy.
Oh, I like that.
There's a highlight where
he's got a great
it's like
one.
the great Yao of China, right? The great wall of China.
Exactly.
He's got a great one dunking on Yao too.
No, I like the block because he blocks Yao, and then place went crazy that day. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Travis.
I'll take the free throws with the torn Achilles because it exemplifies who he was, the relentlessness, the refusal to stop, that no matter how many obstacles were in his way, no matter how many things were not going to break the way that he wanted them to break, the man's body literally betrays him. His Achilles snap. I'm going to go knock down these free throws real quick before I go miss and have my Achilles reattached. Is just the refusal to quit, I think, is what we think of him first. So I'll take the free throws with the torn Achilles.
And he stays present.
Yeah.
The whole thing, too, is like, he could think about how much pain this is, how much all this stuff, because everyone talks about how the Achilles is probably one of the worst, most painful injuries that you can undergo. And the idea that he can just be in the present, I have these free throws, and then I will deal with the pain later. The way to compartmentalize that is crazy. Al?
Okay, so I got two here. Give me Game 7 against the Celtics, iconic moment. Lakers win the championship, and he's on the scores table, and he's looking out to the crowd, right? That's it. He did it. He's at 5 championships. He ties Magic. He kind of puts that final stamp on his career, which he wouldn't have told you that was his final stamp. He'd have told you he's got 3 more championships coming. But that moment, beating the Celtics at Staples Center, Crypto.com, iconic. The other one, I don't know how many people are going to remember this one, but that's okay. Do you guys remember, and Jorge, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Lakers were in the finals in 2000. They're taking on the Indiana Pacers, and it's Game 4. Shaq fouls out. Okay? Kobe, by the way, Game 3 or Game 2 and Game 3, he missed most of Game 2 and all of Game 3 with a sprained ankle. So he was dealing with ankle issues. Shaq fouls out. It's a critical game. Series going to be tied 2 apiece, or the Lakers are going to go up 3-1. He starts walking back and looking at the bench. He does this like, everybody just calm down and relax. Calm down and relax.
I'm here. Yeah, like I got this.
We all talk about how dominant Shaq was in the finals runs, especially in 2000. Kobe had moments where they don't win that game without Kobe Bryant. Shaq was sitting on the sideline telling everybody to calm down, so that's my final one.
All right, Travis, your last one.
I have 2 that I really like. And one is personal to me, like we've talked about, but it's more personal to you, Al. I really want to take him shutting you down at practice in San Diego. I really, really want to take that.
I think you should.
I might, but there's another one that's so that it literally is the first moment that I think of him. Like when I close my eyes and think of it, nobody's picked it yet because I didn't think they would, but it's me. But I really want to take your. Hey, can I talk to you? No.
Put that one put mine in the parentheses.
Honorable mention.
Let's do yours.
It's when they won their first title and he jumps into Shaq's arms.
Oh yeah.
It's that because first of all, Kobe was what, he's 6'7", something like that. That Shaq is 9 feet tall, so Kobe looks
like
small in Shaq's arms, but it's this unbridled joy that spreads across his face that we just won. And it was the first one. And Shaq was, Shaq's
and what is he, 22? Is Kobe 22?
He's a kid, and Shaq is, larger than life, and he's a literal giant, and Kobe's just got his arms wrapped around his neck like a kid around his dad, just expressing that love. So I'm going to take that, although I really want to take your moment.
You got both.
All right, Jorge, your last one.
The famous post-game press conference where he says the game's not finished. Game's not finished. Because that
got
just
straight face.
Yes, and they use that for anything.
The job's not finished? Is that what it
job's
is?
not finished.
Job's not
Yeah,
Is this
job's
when
not
he's
finished.
basically asked, like, hey, why aren't you excited?
Yeah, why aren't you excited? You
He's
guys
like,
are leading 4 to,
why would I be excited?
Right.
Yeah, job's not finished. And he's very serious, and you can see that determination in his face. And just by those jobs not finished, 3 words, dude.
He's putting his mind to it.
Yeah.
Until he's holding that trophy, he's not celebrating anything.
Job's not finished.
All right, so the last one I think is maybe predictable for what I'm going to pick for him because I think that, when I heard of him passing, this is the first thing that I went to go look back at because I thought it was an incredibly beautiful way to describe something you love so much, something you put so much of your life into that you can put it into some sort of artistic vision and then you can win an award. And it's so funny because seeing him accept that Oscar and how much people cared for him as he got up to that stage, and he's in a room that's so different than the rooms that he's typically in. He owns every room that he's in, and in that room, he felt almost like he was like a guest in that room. It's very interesting. Just go back and watch that. And the way that he did that short film, animated short film, was great. So I'm going to do the Dear Basketball short film as my last choice.
It's a great one.
It's a good draft right there.
Nobody took him scoring 61 points in 3 quarters. That's how many. I mean.
Did you take that one in?
I took his final game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you took his final game. That's right. That's right.
And by the way, none of these are bad picks.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
we could do a top 40.
If we had
keep going
graphics where you could fit 4, we could all take one.
Yeah.
By the way, if we didn't,
come on, Graham. Why don't we have more graphics?
If we didn't pick, if there's other Kobe moments, then hit us up on Twitter. I'm thinking, do you remember another just iconic random one? He's a rookie, and they're playing at UNLV. And he crosses over somebody at the top of the key, and then he dunks over Ben Wallace. And you just look at the Lakers bench, and it's Eddie Jones. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" He's had some.
You know what I thought you were going, and it's just another one that kind of springs to mind was him and Jordan in the All-Star game where they both have their hands on their knees. They're kind of looking at each other, and you can just tell he's asking questions, and Jordan's kind of looking at him like.
How much info do I want to?
Yes, it was a very the look on his face was I know if I tell this kid what this is about, he's gonna use it against me. So how much do I tell him? It was
that's good.
There's just a million of them along the way. So Kobe obviously will have his statue unveiled today, coming up in about 3 hours from right now, and it kind of is the tail end of about a 30-year run where just about everything went right for the Lakers. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Speaking of people that win everything, how about Rotolo Chevrolet? 13 years Dealer of the Year. 13 years of being the best at what they do, which is giving you the right Silverado, the right Chevy car and truck at the right price and treating you with the level of customer service that you've never had before. That's what Mike Capozio does at Rotolo Chevrolet every single day. Every person that comes into the lot gets treated like they're the most important person there. because that's exactly what you are to them. So whether it's Mike at the very top, whether it's Eddie, whether it's Armando, or any of the wonderful people that I've met out at Rotolo Chevrolet, they take care of you. You feel good about it. You feel like you've been treated fairly and honestly, and you know what's going on. You're going to tell all your friends. That's how you win Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row, and that's what they do at Rotolo Chevrolet. In Fontana, right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You can't miss it. 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit in Fontana. And if you can't get out to the store, you can still get that great experience online at rotolochevy.com. That's ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamava. We're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something. That on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate a legend. You know it is Super Week on 710 ESPN. And you know, this is like a giant office with all of you, our great 710 listeners. And in offices, we do Super Squares, Jack. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants for the Island Super Squares this week. For Super Week, I'm an island boy. You win 2 Super Squares that could win you fabulous Islands gift cards on Super Sunday. 2 Super Squares on our Island Super Board in the studio at 877-710 ESPN. Island Super Squares for Super Week, made possible by Islands. Islands Restaurants, your local paradise.
So we did our draft last segment of our Kobe moments to us and like what we wanted to remember him by. So here are some things that we missed that people are pointing out to us. So Stephanie points out that maybe we forgot Kobe dunking on rookie Dwight Howard. So you guys remember that one?
I honestly don't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's I mean he at the time Dwight Howard as good as a defensive player in the league already and doesn't just dunk on him. I think he even one of those where Dwight ends up kind of like between his legs, like he goes over him. So definitely an iconic one there.
And then there's one from Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo. He says, Def, the two 3-pointers Kobe had in Portland, one over the quote-unquote Kobe stopper, Ruben Patterson, to send it to OT, and the buzzer beater over Theo Ratliff to win the game to help the Lakers clinch the Pacific Division title.
Final game of the regular season, so that shot, like she said, was important for standings and everything else. The Kobe stopper, all that, the Ruben Patterson stuff. I hope he didn't. I don't think he gave himself that nickname.
I think he did.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't want to do that.
I think look, if somebody gives that to you, like remember it was Raja Bell. I think that's for a minute. I was like, he does a pretty good job on coding. He's like, guys, I'm just trying to hang on. Right, come on, stop. I think Ruben Patterson did give it to himself, if memory serves.
DeAndre had a good one. He was telling me during the break. He's like, remember when his rotator cuff, he injures his rotator cuff and then decides to play the rest of the game with his left hand, so he's taking shots with his left.
It's stupid.
A lot of people are pointing out the Game 4 versus the Suns. Kobe hits that the game-tying shot, and then he hits the game winner, and that's when he's going like this.
Yeah,
That's
it's funny.
That description.
I don't remember the circumstances of who it was against and which game or series it went, but I sure as hell remember when it was like just very slow and emphatic, and the teeth, and just like, yep, that's what I'm here to do.
Jumped on him from there.
Yeah, it was. We could do this the rest of the day, and I'm sure that it will continue as well, right? It's also a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Listen for your cue to call, and when you hear it, be caller number 7 at 877-710-ESPN. Caller number 7 will win a pair of tickets to one of the upcoming Netflix Is a Joke shows. Those are, of course, at the Hollywood Bowl. Tickets are on sale now for Netflix Is a Joke Fest. There are 350-plus artists, 300-plus shows, 35-plus venues, and, of course, it takes over L.A. May 2nd through the 12th. Grab yours today.
We actually just gave away some that were for Taylor Tomlinson, Sarah Silverman, Michelle Batu, and someone else I'm blanking on for in May, and that's also a fantastic show. Taylor Tomlinson is now one of the new late-night hosts on CBS, taking over James Corden's spot. So,
I never
it's a great show.
heard Emily interacting with a winner, basically saying, hey, I'm really jealous that you're going to the show and I'm not.
I want to go to the show so badly.
It's good. I mean, like, it's a murderer's row. But, all right, so Kobe's statue will be unveiled here in just a little bit less than 3 hours. And when you look at Kobe's run with the Lakers, when you look at his run with Pau, which connects to his run with Shaq, which connects to the Showtime Lakers, which basically were throughout the entire 1980s. So you're talking about, and you're looking at some of the statues over here, and it's not exclusive. Elgin Baylor is there and Jerry West is there, but basically from about 1980 to 2010, okay, it's a 30-year window. And all of those statues kind of connect. There's a little bit of a gap after Showtime before you get to Shaq, but not a super long one.
Yeah.
It happened relatively
10
quickly.
10 years is nothing in professional sports. And for the Lakers, it was where's the organization going? Do they care?
and even in there, they were never. The Lakers were almost never bad. Almost never were they bad. And Kobe is kind of if you have bookends, right? Like the beginning of it, I guess, is Kareem, and then Magic shortly thereafter. And then you go through all of the guys that we're talking about. And then Kobe and Pau are that last era right there, that 30-year window that's commemorated out there. And I'm not trying to exclude Jerry West and all of his contributions and Elgin Baylor, but 30 years that those statues all kind of connect. It's unreal. And it was all Dr. Buss. Like, he was the one that kind of put all of these things together for 30 years. And to your point, Slee, if you went 5 or 6 years without winning a title, it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
They don't care anymore. There literally is no
insane.
other franchise that has that. And listen, and things have changed. They have. When Dr. Jerry Buss passed, the franchise will never be the same. It just can't. They just what they accomplished is so. People can have the argument today, and you can't really argue with them. If I told you who is the greatest owner in professional sports, you can put whoever you want on there. You just can't have the conversations without Dr. Jerry Buss.
Sure.
You can't. And
Artie
that window that you're talking about, what did he buy the team in 79? I think it was
so.
79.
Yeah.
They won a championship in 80. right? And then, that window that you're talking about till 2010, think of there's 5 NBA championships in the Showtime era. There's 5 NBA championships that have a couple stars, but Kobe's the...
Basically 3. There's like a 3-headed monster,
Three-headed monster, but Kobe's the through
Kobe's the through line.
through all of them. That's 10 rings in 30 years. That's one championship every 3 years. And I can't even think of... So how many did Magic go to? He went to 9.
He went to 9 in 10 years.
Kobe went to 7.
Uh-huh.
So 50% of the finals the Lakers were in over that 30-year span. When you describe it that way, and this is who's going there to join the other legendary players, that's insane.
And I get that today's a Kobe day, and today's a day to kind of remember all of the things, but it connects. But it also kind of is a reset for what's coming next, right? Because like you just said a second ago, Al, LeBron James has been here 6 years. He's won a title.
Yeah.
And while it doesn't feel like there's one on your doorstep, there's no guarantee that there isn't another one in his future here. It's probably less likely than likely, but there is another title after that Kobe title. LeBron James was a part of it. Anthony Davis, it's like, man, I just don't know what they're doing. Calm down. They got now 15 trips to the finals or whatever the number is you're talking about in 30. It's just an asinine number. It doesn't make any sense. But to kind of set that as your standard, you're never going to be pleased with what comes after.
Right.
I know they're trying, but trying is one thing. Executing it is another. That they executed that for 3 decades. Come on, man. Come on.
Do you want me to? Should I read this tweet, but it's going to annoy you?
Those are my favorite kind.
Tim in the OC. Job wants to call in and tell Travis that Kobe's not a good basketball player because he doesn't like the way Kobe dribbled.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's about this. There's no difference.
He dribbled.
There's no difference. Well, he played in high school, little JV ball in
Maybe Tim is
grade.
Joe for all we know.
For all we know, right? I'm not falling for it twice. The Dump is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Cap. I'm out here at Yamavon. We're by the pool. I got the Bud Light girls here, Ariel and V, and I'm going to tell everybody something, that on the day of the big game, and you know what I'm talking about, the Bud Light's going to be flowing, the food's going to be amazing, and the scene here is going to be out of this world. I know because I was here last year. Make your reservations now. Yamava, the day of the big game, we'll see you out here. Hey, I want to give you another reason why you got to come out here to Yamava and the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet, because on the day of the big game, Super Bowl champion Reggie Wayne is going to join us. We're going to have a great time with Reggie Wayne. We're going to hang out and watch the big game. That's just another reason to come on out here to Yamava and hang with us that Sunday, the day of the big game.
Join us on 710 ESPN all day on Thursday, February 8th, 2/8/24 for a celebration of legacy that will be unveiled in greatness forever. Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap will broadcast live from the balcony of the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. Join us in celebrating a day that will be remembered forever. Plus, we'll have a chance for you to win tickets to be in the building on Thursday night for a game that Los Angeles will never forget. Special thanks to our friends at Anheuser-Busch and Michelob Ultra for helping us celebrate Yes, it's time for the dump.
How about this for a birthday today? Happy 33rd birthday to one of the greatest shooters in the history of the league. 34.
I did my stats here.
All right, happy 34th birthday to Klay Thompson. There was a moment, and again, because the trade deadline is come and gone, Klay's still with the Warriors. That didn't happen, but I think for the first time ever, had it happened, it would have been surprising. But I don't know if he would have picked your jaw up off the floor. Sort of surprising. He's in a really weird spot in his career, and I thought him talking about how it's been difficult transitioning to where he is right now, and the emotions that come along with it, I thought was super real and very, very powerful.
He's as authentic as it gets. I think a lot of reasons why Klay is an easy guy to root for is because you feel like he's just himself, right? He's riding the bike into Chase Center. He's not
The boat occasionally too, right?
The boat as well.
Yeah.
It's just like he's it feels like he's just such a normal dude, and a lot of that probably comes because obviously his parents and everything else. But what will be interesting around Klay, Trav, when the season ends, could be it for him with the Golden State Warriors. And there were some reports out there of what he had churned down in the offseason, of what the Golden State Warriors were offering. Klay Thompson may think in his head he's still a certain type of player.
Sure.
And all great players think that way.
Of course they do.
But the market's going to tell him something different. And
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised or shocked at all that these will be his final couple of months with the Golden State Warriors.
Maybe, right? Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because what makes a great player, a Hall of Fame player, a great player and a Hall of Fame player, other than work ethic and talent and all that kind of stuff, is they believe that they are that thing to a degree that you and I can't even wrap our head around. It's not like, I'm pretty good. It's like, no, I'm not only good at this, I'm the best to have ever done this. And I believe in me in a way that you and I don't believe in ourselves. And to have it finally be, hey, you're not what that was, it's just, that doesn't add up. That's why those guys are usually, they're not the ones that are leading the church. I'm going to tap out now. It's usually later. And it's usually the market, like you're talking about, that kind of has it happen like that. It was today in 2015. Better Call Saul premiered.
Yeah.
Not only could you argue it's the best spinoff of all time, obviously a spinoff of Breaking Bad. Emily, you might get mad at me at this, but this is not just my take, but I think it's arguably the spinoff that was better than the thing that spun it off, right? Yeah. That Better Call Saul, for some people, was a better television program than Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was more exciting. It was more violent. Sure. It was all of those sort of things.
And it was,
the intricacies of it all, what a great origin story.
And you took certain members of Breaking Bad and you found ways to bring them back in. First off, just having Saul Goodman be the guy. Just think about when you're watching Breaking
Bad. And
Bad.
Mike was such a great character.
Such a great character. But think about when you're watching Breaking Bad. Like, there's going to be a spinoff. Who's it going to be on?
Yeah.
Saul? That one, at least for me.
Really? No, see, that part makes perfect. Like, he was by far the most interesting character on that show that you didn't know a ton about. Like, how did that guy become that guy? Well, he had a monstrous brother. Mm-hmm. He had a background that was always a little bit shady. He was always willing to cut a corner.
And you still get Gus Fring.
You still get Gus.
He has the interactions with Gus while he's bought into the fold.
Mike, like you said, Kim was
She was great.
She was great. In her
the whole
role.
time, too, you're wondering why Kim is not in Breaking Bad. Because you're like, did Kim die? What happened to Kim? Because that is the great part of Better Call Saul, because you realize this person was so important to Jimmy Saul that how was she not at all in Breaking Bad? Mm-hmm. And so that's the whole question in the back of your mind is like, is she dead? Did he do something to her? What happened? And obviously we know what happens in the end. And that is what is beautiful about it to me.
I agree. My only nitpick with Better Call Saul, loved it. Loved it.
Okay.
She wouldn't have picked him. And I know you can't pick who you fall in love
Albuquerque.
with. Yeah, she was in a different strata than he was.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, she had a lot of options. Yeah. He had very few options. That one's like,
Saul was.
I don't
almost
quite
like
get
he
that.
wore me down. It's like that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
actually, that's a good way to put it. Saul was the best. He was the greatest and the worst salesman that I've ever seen in my life, like in one. Okay,
and
just some more characters from the show. Howard, right?
Oh, yeah.
His role. Lalo,
Oh, yeah.
Lalo was excellent in his role. I'm with you that's
because
one
the
of
other Salamancas were lunatics, like Tuco, crazy, like the craziest of the crazy. Hector was terrifying,
right?
But Lalo seemed kind of chill right up until he started to kill people. It's like I can hang out with Lalo.
Was his opening scene walking into the restaurant and he's cooking there in the back?
Yeah, I think so.
I think, and you're not sure what the character is, and he's got that bright smile on his face. I'm like, all right, I don't know if this guy's going to be a good guy or a bad guy.
I also personally believe that finale is fantastic.
It's
I
terrific.
think
Great
that
finale.
there's almost like there's a shock value because of the certain person that shows up that you're like, oh, I know exactly who that is, why you're there, you're going to destroy all this stuff. I think that they do a good job of explaining why Saul became Saul, why Jimmy became Saul, and then why he again had to kind of like, he couldn't do it without me. It's me. It's kind of almost like going back to what happened with like Breaking Bad, because it's like, it was, because one of Walter White's last things that he says to his wife, Skylar, is that I did this for me. And then to have Saul say, he couldn't have done it without me. That stuff is really cool to me. And why, again, it worked because Vince Gilligan was part of it.
Yeah.
And they had the same actors, same creators all working together. That's the only way spinoffs work. If it's 10 years later and no one's involved, that's when it sucks.
It can't be we pick it up later and it's the guy's kid who's running the business now. That's just like, now how did we get here? And it's going to the front of it is always more fun.
Another person I would like to see, but they couldn't have done it because this actor passed during Better Call Saul. But the vacuum cleaner guy, that whole organization, I would have loved to see that. You know how he disappears people?
Oh, that guy was great.
That's from
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, and they still do have him in Better Call Saul, but to understand that is kind of cool.
I want to throw one more guy out there that if you were going to spin off the spinoff, the veterinarian. Right? Like, why is he the guy that's plugged into the underworld of Albuquerque? Why is he the guy that you come to when you need something taken care of?
Yeah.
Like that Mike would go to him to kind of get his assignments on the underground stuff. Like, why is that veterinarian
Also,
the guy?
The very first shot of Better Call Saul, when it's black and white and you're in a Cinnabon and you don't understand why you're in these places.
Right.
That is so great because, again, it references back to the Breaking Bad where he's like, I could be in the middle of Iowa working at a Cinnabon.
Has there been, and I'm sure there has, you went from Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul. Are there third spinoffs?
They do not want to touch that at all.
No, not them. You're talking generally speaking?
In general.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Explain why they don't want to touch that at all.
They are they feel like they've told the story that they need to tell. So I think I trust them that they have closed that story. I think it's really hard. It feels more like you're selling out because I feel like it's just trying to stretch.
I wonder if there's been a third one.
Probably.
A spinoff that didn't happen that could have happened. So I don't know if you guys watch The Office super closely like I do, but
The
there's
Farm
that one
or
episode,
whatever they
The Farm.
called it. Yeah.
That was a not bottle episode, but it was a backdoor pilot where they're trying to get that happen. That actually was supposed to be the pilot of The Farm.
Hard
they
pass.
Put it into the Office.
Did you like it?
I didn't hate it.
Oh, really?
I would have watched it.
It was like, because it was, first of all, obvious what they were doing. And it's like, and I love Dwight's character. I don't need, unless it's about Mose, I'm out. Like, I'd watch a series about Mose.
That'd have been tough. That'd have been tough. I don't know if I would have caught into that.
Not getting back to it. So we're good to go, Jorge? Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K2560X 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo, 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 woo. Mace, Ireland, are you there? Have we figured this out?
We are there.
All right.
We're here.
So. We did.
Yep.
We made it happen right before Tim, the engineer, got us done
Way to go,
right
Tim.
on time.
Yeah,
right
so
on.
we are confident that we can broadcast live from the second floor, and there's a good crowd here too.
I was just going to say.
Don't forget, it was a white knuckle situation. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're at the Nixo Lounge at the East Central Hotel. You can definitely come over here, be here all day long. So I was hearing you talk about Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
I actually, when I had, who did I have on the show? Peter Gould, who was involved in Better Call Saul, one of the big producers. He told me that they are working on a spinoff. It's an animated spinoff called Slippin' Jimmy, and it's just about Jimmy as an accident attorney, but it's animated.
Really?
Huh. That's interesting.
Which I think could be funny. Funny half hour.
Is Odenkirk going to voice it?
Yes, he would voice it.
Okay.
So the one spinoff I thought that could have come out of Breaking Bad would be a Gus Fring prequel to see how Giancarlo Esposito
became Chicken Man.
Yeah. I thought that would be good, but maybe that is going to milk the cow one too many times. I don't know.
Emily is shaking her head. Emily, why is that a bad
I
idea?
just think that you already got it with Better Call Saul. You got a lot of Gus Fring early stuff with that. You don't get the very, very origin of it, which is why I think that you kind of were doing a lot of retread if you did that with Better Call Saul.
Maybe.
What about
and you got
Mike?
El Camino, which is not a spinoff. But that's a movie.
What about the prequel to Mike? How did we get to Mike? Why did he go dirty as a cop? What happened to his kid? All of that kind of stuff.
Although, we kind of got all that, right? Oh, you mean go back to Chicago or wherever is? Yeah. You could do that. You could do that. I kind of agree with them. I think it is a perfect universe, and I don't think Vince Gilligan is necessarily interested in revisiting that. Although the Slippin' Jimmy thing has been knocking around for a while. Maybe that happens. It's not exactly. Well, I guess it is a spinoff, but it's a totally different universe.
Best spinoff of all time, or is it Frasier? Is there something else I'm missing?
Frasier's the most successful spinoff of all time.
I would say The Jeffersons. Spun out of All in the Family.
Michael would say that.
Yeah, The Jeffersons is a great show. By the way,
Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff.
Laverne and Shirley out of I think Maude was also out of All in the Family.
Right.
All in the Family had a bunch of spinoffs. Those are all Norman Lear shows. I can't think of a spinoff lately. Well, I mean, I guess they spin out. There's like 9 NCISs. And
that's all the
Dick
same
Wolf
show.
has got Law and Order and all. But I don't think any of that obviously counts. But yeah, I would say Jeffersons is near the top of my list.
I forgot that George Jefferson was in All in the Family. Of course he was.
Oh, there's a famous
scene
scene
where
he
of course.
Kim and Archie just go at it.
Yeah.
They start calling each other names, and it's fantastic.
So the fans excited out there? They ready to go?
Fans are excited out here. People are getting ready.
Yeah, this is already feeling like a lot like Kobe's. Mace, what did you do?
I just dumped a
what
drink.
Did you just
dumped a drink.
Damn it. You do it all the time.
I don't do it
He
all.
hasn't
Wait a
done
minute,
it
when
a
was the
lot
last time I've
lately.
done it?
I mean, it's been a little while.
Yeah,
but this is not something that's
Well, I
new
mean, there's
by any
wires
means.
and there's cords, and Tim the engineer's in here with a screwdriver
So what
and
you
a
want
hammer.
with what
But
you
why
want
would
with
you put it right
wires
next
and
to my
cords
laptop?
is you dumping liquid on
Yeah,
all
a lot
of them.
of
Thankfully,
putting them in a pool of water should really help things.
I missed both my computer and my phone, so I'm.
Well, as long as you're
away
good.
from everything.
Yeah, I'm lucky there. So, it's going to be a great day, a really special day. I heard you guys talking about it coming in.
I think one of the things that's so cool about it is that we don't know what it's going to be, and that the secret has been so well kept that we've gotten as close as we've gotten to this, and we still what the actual sculpture itself is going to be representing is unknown, is incredibly exciting. Like, it's just to not know what it is, to be able to keep that secret like that is incredibly impressive.
I watched a Backstage Lakers about the different statues that have been unveiled over the years, and they've actually done a really good job of keeping all of them under wraps. Like the Shaq one, nobody knew he'd be hanging off the side of the building. Like, they've done a really good job with this. John, do you have any hunch on what the statue might look like?
I do not, and even if I did, I've been sworn to secrecy. There's a whole bunch of surprises.
You've been sworn to secrecy for what you don't know?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
But I do know there's 4 or 5 surprises coming tonight.
Oh,
that
yeah?
nobody
At the
knows
game?
about.
Wow.
That'll be really good.
You know
At the
about
game.
it?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What time is all the stuff happen at the game?
Well, I mean, the game starts at 7. They're going to tip at 7:15.
But is there like a ceremony or something
Well,
beforehand?
the ceremony's at 3:30.
But then they're not doing anything inside the arena tonight.
They are, but you got to wait and see what it is.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, nothing.
Should we be in our seats at 6?
No.
No, okay.
No, I think if you're in your seats at 7, you're good.
All right, good.
So you're saying you know absolutely nothing about the
But the statue itself, no, I don't know what it is.
But he swore to secrecy.
Yeah, right. So that means you have to.
They said,
are you lying?
Well, no, somebody sent me a note last night that said, do not reveal. If you know what the statue is, do not reveal. And I didn't respond to it, but the truth is I don't know what it is. So I couldn't reveal it anyway.
Can you tell us off the air?
I know. He doesn't
You
know.
just said he doesn't know,
could,
Greg.
But I
What do you
say
want out of
exactly
him?
what I just said.
Yeah, no, he's under the cone of
I
silence.
just don't believe it. I think you know it all.
So, John,
Okay.
you have a better recollection of this than I. Is this the biggest NBA trade deadline dud day that we've had in a while? Not a lot of big names
Quiet,
moving
very
around.
quiet.
Yeah, well, especially with the Lakers being completely inactive. Rob's made a deal every year he's been the GM. He just didn't do one this year. Although maybe 2 years ago when they didn't trade Westbrook, they didn't do much. But I think they did stuff around the edges. I think that this trade deadline really happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When Anunoby moved and Siakam moved and, the best names moved 2 weeks ago.
I'll tell you, I think the Knicks probably came away with the best.
They did great.
Between Anunoby and then they today
Bogdanovich.
got Bogdanovich, who's a shooter, and Alec Burke, who's actually come into his own a little bit as a sixth man in Detroit. Those guys, I think, are good acquisitions for the Knicks, and they're going to go big this summer and add to what they got. But we didn't expect anything as of yesterday, right? As
well,
of
that's
yesterday,
the thing.
We were saying nothing's really going to happen.
Last year, when you had Kyrie moved, Kevin Durant moved, some of the biggest names.
Blockbuster names.
Is it just that guys are happy where they are this year? Is it that people are performing up to expectations? Why did we not have at least one of those names shake loose?
What this is, I've had these conversations with people who have been GMs. Like Bob Myers is working for ESPN now, and so if you talk to Bob, people will tell you the number one job of most GMs is to not get fired. And so because of that, a lot of them are gun shy. For example, like I'm pulling up the standings right now. How did the Washington Wizards do nothing? They're 9-41. So you want to keep your guys if you're 9-41.
I guess who's the one guy? I guess Kuzma's the one guy on that roster who would have value
Jordan
out there.
Poole.
Right.
Even though I think his contract is awful, but yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody's taking him Jordan Poole.
We're playing San Antonio next week. How did they do nothing? They're 10-41. Or maybe they move McDermott?
They did
McDermott moved.
So what did Portland do anything?
Not that
no.
Maybe some.
But
Indiana traded Hield. I thought Hield was always on the Raiders' target or the Lakers' target.
Portland's 15-35.
But John, isn't sometimes teams like that? Aren't you just saying, hey, we'd rather let's keep losing, let's get a good draft pick, and wouldn't that be some of their reasoning for not making the moves? And I think some of the teams that are in between that are neither good or bad, those are the kind of the dangerous situation to be in.
Right, but if you have a player that's on an expiring contract that you're not going to bring back, like Charlotte didn't trade Miles Bridges. They decided to trade Gordon Hayward instead. But Miles Bridges can just walk at the end of the year. He's had back-to-back 40-point games. So maybe their plan is to sign him in the offseason, and if it is, then good for them. But if it's not, if you're just going to let him walk, what sense does it make to not trade him?
Although isn't sometimes the best move the one you don't make?
Maybe, but if you're 9 or what are they? Portland's 15-35.
They're just going to get a lot of ping pong balls, right?
Yeah.
Well, go back to the Lakers for a second. So if the Lakers are, they're going to sit tight. They did sit tight. They're going to roll this team through the last 2.5 months of the regular season that's coming up. Is the hope, or I don't know if this is a hope or this is a plan or maybe a combination of the two, is it maybe we can find whatever it is we had at the end of last year. We can get Vando back healthy. Maybe Gabe Vincent can add a little spark and just cross our fingers and hope that version of this team shows up again in a couple of months.
I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. You know what's going to be critical, I think, down the stretch is Jared Vanderbilt going to come back? He's their second best defensive player. He brings unbelievable energy to the floor every time he's out there. I know. Are we still on? He'll be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. Is that the game plan with him? In a month.
And I would not. It could go either way. If he doesn't have to have surgery, he could come back. But if he has to have surgery, I think that's it for the year. So they're going to determine that in a month.
That would be a loss. That'd be a significant loss. I think.
Already is.
Yeah,
they can really use him tonight.
Oh yeah.
Jamal Murray torched us in the Western Conference Finals, and
Jared Vanderbilt
would have been the one tonight that would have tried to cover him. So somebody else is going to have to do that.
Shams just put out a quick tweet here. It says Lakers, Mavs, Pelicans, 76ers expected to show interest in Spencer Dinwiddie. He got traded
from L.A.
And he's going to get bought out, right?
Yeah, he's going to get bought out. Just got traded. I think Toronto, he's on Toronto now, and if he meets a certain amount of games, they have to pay him a bonus. So looks like he's going to hit the buyout market.
He would get minutes for us, and he's from Los Angeles. So
Kyle Lowry's old, but he's probably going to be on the buyout market, and he's a credible point guard. He's going to give you 18, 20 minutes a night. He can play that Gabe Vincent role.
So buyout guys, maybe you get some, maybe you don't, but buyout guys, whatever. Does for me at least, and I'll just speak for myself. I've been for the last couple of weeks, a month or so, been All right, make whatever deal it is you're going to make, and then let's see what it looks like and see how much better or worse it is. But because nothing happened, is it just, all right, the second half of the season or the post-trade deadline season starts tonight? Is there an added intensity? It just felt like everybody was kind of waiting around for something to happen, and nothing happened. And now you got a game to play with the same guys you've had all season long that's been underwhelming.
Well, here's what I think their mentality is. They're 2.5 games, or make it 3.5 games out of the 6.
That's where they need to get.
They need to look at they need to concentrate on the 6.
Avoid the plan.
Yeah, and so basically that's their target. They got to make up 3.5 games on New Orleans, Sacramento, and Dallas. Then they get to the 6.
Yeah.
And if they get to the 6, I think all of a sudden, then they can do what they did last year and make some noise. If the season ended today and they get to the 6, they would play the Nuggets in the first round.
Yeah, I don't know if you want the 6 if the Nuggets are the 3.
That's a rough
Yeah,
spot.
but Trav, listen to this. Oklahoma City 35-16.
Yeah.
Minnesota 35-16.
Yeah.
Denver 35-16. Clippers 34-16. So it'd be one of those 4 teams. They've already beat Oklahoma City twice.
Yep.
They've already beat the Clippers twice. Minnesota, they got screwed on that LeBron toe in the line thing. The one team in there, Phoenix, who's the 5, they've beat 3 times.
Anybody but the Nuggets.
None of those teams. Right. The one team they haven't beaten is Denver. And we got to look at how – this is a good measuring stick game tonight.
Yeah, because this is who we got.
What?
Because this is the team that knocked us out last year. And the games were close, but it was a sweep.
The team that knocked you out, and you've got virtually the same team. And they have a very, very similar team. And help is not – the posse is not showing up with its – whatever's been missing, you got to go find it. And it had to have been in the room the whole time.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, last year, during the offseason, everybody preached continuity. Yep. Let's keep everything going the way we've got it going. Let's keep the pieces in place. Let's re-sign Rui, and let's sign Austin
D'Lo.
and all those guys. Because this is the group we're going to roll with. Well, now, with the trade deadline passed and them not this is the group they're going to roll with. And we'll see if they can duplicate. You know, it comes down to matchups, too. We'll see if they can get the matchups in the playoffs as long as they get in order to advance. There are some tough, like John pointed out, you draw Denver in the first round, you're screwed.
But if they draw Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Clippers, or Phoenix, they've had success against all 4.
Yeah, I mean, they got a puncher's chance against anybody.
It starts with the unveiling. It ends with the Nuggets tonight. And
you coming over, Trav? Come on.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Start without me.
That's a hard no.
Come over
John,
to the Mixo Lounge.
John, if it were any other day.
There you go.
There you go.
Sliwa's coming over here.
Oh, Slee, are you coming over?
I've taught you well.
I'll come, but after the unveiling.
Okay, got it.
Well, Mason Island's over at that
we're
time.
over then, but
so
that's okay.
you're going to miss us.
I'll text.
Come over here first,
I'll text
and then
both
go.
of you guys.
Yeah, right.
No, you won't.
Super Crosstalks brought to you
Where
by
you guys going?
In-N-Out
They'll be in their
Burger.
car, wheels rolling by the time we start the next segment.
In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.